Hi everybody, good morning and welcome to the dining room table. I'm Jeremy Cordeaux and this until midday today is the Court of Public Opinion. Round the city, the state, the country and the world wide web we go. How sweet it is. How bloody hot it is. It's not too bad in here. I wonder who invented air conditioning. That would have to be one of the best things that anyone ever invented, wouldn't it? Air conditioning. It's going to be 40 degrees in good old Adelaide today. 41, actually. Telephone number if you would like to join us. If you want to come by, shake the tree, rattle the cage, thump the table, do what you like. 0491 65 68 60 at the dining room. And if you're not at the dining room table, ladies and gentlemen, you're probably going to be on the menu. And we wouldn't have that, would we? I'll tell you what is on the menu. Dr. John Bruni from Sage International. He is flying out. He can't come into the studio today because he's getting ready to fly out for some big meeting in Europe. These people come to good old Adelaide to have John fly over there to tell them what to do. Anyway, John Bruni, Dr. John will be here. Professor Ian Plimer at around 10. Jim Penman. I'm really looking forward to talking to Jim Penman. Jim Penman came out the other day with something that was, I don't know what you'd say, very true but pretty remarkable and brave. The businessman behind the billion-dollar empire, which is Jim's Mowing. Well, it's not Jim's Mowing anymore. It's Jim's everything. Absolutely everything. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I must tell you about the cast. We've got Les isn't here. Les Ellicus can't make it.
Good morning, Les, wherever you are.
Yeah. Gary's here. Tony Denton has left Gary in charge.
If we go off air, folks, it's my fault.
Well, look, the trouble is, you see...
no training whatsoever.
No, well, Tony makes it look so easy.
He does.
Absolutely.
And so does Les.
Yeah, well, that's true. Anyway, it'll be okay.
We'll muddle through, as they say on Brits.
We certainly will. Peter Solano's going to be with us later. In fact, probably around the time Jim Penman gets in. And listen, I found the last service station in, well, I was going to say Australia, but perhaps I know for certain it's the last service station in South Australia. But it could be the last service station. You remember a service station, don't you? A service station.
But that's where you used to be able to get oil and put it in your car and petrol and somebody would. Stuff. They're not supermarkets.
Somebody would come and check your oil, check your tyres, clean your windscreen.
Yes.
Put the petrol in your tank.
You know who used to do that for me? Glenys O'Brien.
Glenys O'Brien?
She married Ernst Sigley.
She worked in a service station?
Her father owned the service station next to the Feathers Hotel.
Oh, yeah, I thought you were going to tell me that Ernie had put her to work
no,
on the driveway.
No, it was Glenys, beautiful Glenys O'Brien.
Yeah. I remember that place.
O'Brien's Golden Fleece, as I remember.
Well, it must have gone by the time I got here in 1976 because I can only remember it.
It would have way before. I'm talking middle, late 60s.
Do you remember a guy called Dion Skinner?
Yes, indeed. Oh, yes.
Dion Skinner.
The Salt and the Swap, wasn't it? Was it?
No.
Hang on, someone else was a Salt and the Swap, wasn't it? But Dion Skinner, you remember
Dion Skinner, he was a coin man. He used to come on the weekend shows on 5DN. He was an absolute genius when it came to coins and things like that.
I was thinking of Laurie Treadway. What? The Sultan of Swap.
Laurie Tread.
Yeah, he had the shop in the Adelaide market. In the market.
Yeah, was that a pawn shop?
Yes.
Yeah.
PAWN shop. Jeremy, let's get this right.
No, that's all right. I'm sure people understand what I'm talking about.
Well, a few dirty deals were done there, I guess.
I still don't understand how a pawn shop works.
I just pay your money and go for it. Are we talking about the same thing, Jeremy?
No, a pawn shop. You take something in.
No, I know. I'm only pulling your leg.
Yeah. Take something in and you pawn it.
Yeah.
And you get money. You give the thing across the counter and you get money.
The pawnbroker would give you a quote on what he's prepared to loan you on that particular item, and if you don't turn up, he'll sell it on. To pay back, I mean.
Okay, so you have an opportunity to come and give the money back that you borrowed and take your item back.
Indeed, that's how it works. But that doesn't happen that often. Generally, people who pawn something, head for the hills. We had a quote on your E-type the other day to see what we could get for it, but
what's that red light?
Oh, that's just...
Don't he tell you what the red light was?
No, that's just telling us that the mouse is working.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
That's all it is.
That's word of mouth.
It's a panic merchant, isn't he, when Tony's not here? It's perfectly reasonable. I could make the whole thing fall over this morning, Jeremy.
I'm a little nervous. Anyway, I mean...
We're having fun, that's all that matters.
People enjoy it more when things go wrong.
Oh, we need a bit of patter like this. Indeed. Yeah. The world's far too serious.
Telephone number if you'd like to join us, 0491 65 68 60. Maria hasn't called,
No, that's a disappointment. Where are you, Maria?
I don't know. But
she's probably charging up the electric batteries on her car.
Let me tell you more about Jim Penman.
Tony just rang and said you were doing a wonderful job.
Oh, Tony approves. You're doing a wonderful job.
Well, thank you for that,
thank
Tony,
you, Caroline.
wherever you are. And we hope it all goes well for you this morning.
Millionaire businessman Jim Penman has launched a blistering attack on Australian government bureaucracy, and he's called for it to be cut down by 2/3. 2/3. I cannot comprehend how the public service works. It is so bloated, Mr. Penman told news.com. People are unsackable. It doesn't matter how badly they perform. There is no concern about efficiency whatsoever. My best estimate is that you could probably cut bureaucracy by 2/3 and you'd have a much better functioning government. Now, this man should be in politics, but I don't think he would be bothered. But we'll put it to him. Maybe he can. Oh, Senator Bob Day, speaking of politics, will be with us as well. And, of course, if you want to give us a call, telephone number is... sorry, I move these papers. I'm going to have to come in one day other than Friday into the dining room, because the dining room has now really more or less completely become a radio station.
Oh, indeed it is.
I don't think it's ever been used for dining, but there you go. But I'll come in and tidy it up somehow.
Why bother? It's lovely.
Well, it's...
a working studio.
Working, all right. 049 65 68 60, the number.
You alone are the living thing that keeps me alive. And tomorrow, if I'm here without your love, you know I can't survive. Only my love can raise you high above it all. Throw it all away, our love, our love. Don't throw it all away, our love. Don't throw it all away, our love, our love. Don't throw it all away, our love. Rain, won't you tell her that I love her so? Please ask the sun to set her heart aglow. Rain in her heart and let the love we knew start to grow. Listen to the rhythm of the falling rain, telling me just what a fool I've been. I wish that it would go and let me cry in vain, and let me be alone again. Oh, listen to the falling rain. Pitter, patter, pitter, patter. Oh, listen to the falling rain.
Telephone number 0491 65 68 60 if you'd like to join us. We'd love to have you on the program. He's arrived early, but we love him dearly. Peter Solano, how are you?
Good morning. Good morning.
Morning,
Good morning, all
Peter.
the listeners. Morning, Gary.
Morning, Peter.
Yeah, great to be here. Learning a lot from you.
No, We are feeling our way because we're kind of
Understaffed. Understaffed.
Unlike the government that you just mentioned.
unlike the government. Isn't that
There's
funny?
no meat on the bone here at all.
No. You would remember Peter Solano. He's recognised as being a high achiever. He talks to high achievers too. He's got a great radio program. He's the man who talks to the world. What your podcast is now in? When you count up the number of podcasts,
we're over 200 podcasts that we've been doing. Only doing it once a week for the last 5 years. We in right across Australia, it's heard, and about over 50 countries around the world regularly. So we've been very blessed that our audience keeps sharing it.
Yeah. Do you know how big the audience is?
We don't actually know because it's hard to measure in other countries.
Yeah, of course.
But we do have a percentage of what countries listen most, and that's growing all the time.
But of all the podcasts, you are number...
Well, of all the podcasts in Australia, we just got notified that we were at number 29 of all the podcasts.
Wow, that's
Goodness
fantastic.
me, that's an achievement.
Yeah, and all the business podcasts, we're at number 11 in all of Australia. So, thanks to Ron from Podcast City, Happy Business Radio, podcast has been going, like I said, for over 5 years, and it just keeps growing and growing. So, all I can
it
say
is the future.
Sorry?
It is the future.
Well, everybody's doing podcasts,
Indeed.
and like I was talking to Jeremy before, and somebody said like there's thousands of podcasts. A lot of them do it daily. The reason why we're probably not as much. We're at number 29. We do it once a week.
Okay, have you got John there? Oh, you have. We've got John there.
Good morning.
No. Put that back in.
That's John.
Yeah.
He's there.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to keep it on, Joe.
Just hang on a sec.
Yep.
He's there.
Hiya, John. Can you hear me?
Good morning, Jeremy. How are you?
I'm well.
Happy New Year to you and the team.
Yep. It's a shrunken team. Gary, put the feedback.
That's all right.
So you've only got Gary and Peter. Who else? You got Caroline
Caroline, yes.
and yourself.
A good supply of green tea.
And the dog.
And the dog.
And the
You'll
dog.
hear the dog regularly.
Well, let's hope this year's a better year than last year.
Yeah.
I got a real whiz one for you this morning, Jeremy.
Yep.
Yeah, you're not going to believe what I'm about to tell you.
Tell me.
At the end of last year, unfortunately, my sister passed, and we had a funeral service, and she elected to be cremated. So, at a cost of $12,000, that was taken care of, right?
Yeah.
But when her ashes were taken from the crematorium, they put in contemplation court for us to make a decision where we might want to put them.
Yeah.
So when we had a discussion with Centennial Park, 1,080 to inter her ashes. This is extra. 1,080 and a little plaque that would measure 3 by 4 inches roughly to go on to Mum and Dad's headstone.
Yeah.
Well, yesterday I got the message that the brass plaque will take about 8 weeks to finish. I said, well, will you let us know the date so we can be there to watch the interment? Oh, you can, but that's at a cost of $260.
Well, they're going to charge you to turn up?
Yeah, charge us to turn up to watch our sister's ashes, just my 2 brothers and myself, to watch our sister's ashes to be interred.
That is extraordinary.
This is at Centennial Park, is it?
Yes, at Centennial Park, yes. Yeah. I'll tell you what, something really needs to be done about it. That's just, like, I thought once we'd paid the $12,000 for the cremation, I thought that would have been enough to have it interred as well.
I wonder how they justify $12,000 for a cremation.
That's incredible.
Well, if it was about $5,000 for just a coffin, Jeremy.
Yeah, and that's burnt, so it's just...
Yeah.
See, when I go, I'm going to get the cheapest cardboard box that's on the market because it's just such a waste.
By the way, Jeremy, I just found out cardboard boxes are more expensive than a cheaper pine box.
It couldn't
Yeah,
be.
they are. I just found out the other day from a funeral parlour. So it's quite incredible. A cardboard box has to be reinforced and all the rest of it, and it's harder. A friend of mine wanted to get a cardboard box and paint it.
Yeah.
And, seriously, they would just make
Well,
art all over it.
I'm chuckling because very recently a friend of mine who works on Porsche motor cars gave me this huge box that's got all stickers and import stuff over it, and I said, I'm going to use that as a casket. And then someone told me that you're not allowed to.
No.
And I thought, it's a cardboard box. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Huge.
Jeremy, I've got another thing to add. My wife wanted to have a plaque put on the wall for returned servicemen.
Yeah.
So we made the inquiry, gave him the number. A 30-year lease at $1,000 for the site on the wall.
Yeah.
And then if the RSL approve the cost of the plaque, that they will pay for it. If they don't, that's an additional $800.
Yeah. Well,
Jeremy, this would not pass the pub test.
it would not pass the pub test. I remember years ago we had several sessions on 5DN when people rang and complained about the fact that if you had loved ones and they were buried at Centennial Park, you had a 25-year lease on the plot of land, and you had to renew that lease. And if you didn't, they would just simply put a backhoe through the grave and resell it, reuse it. Now, if you were Aboriginal, that would not happen because where you are buried would be a sacred site.
Yeah.
Very strange.
And what really gets me about it, Jeremy, I look at my father-in-law, I look at my own dad and uncles from both sides. They gave 5 years of their lives serving in the Second World War. To me, they earned the right to be placed in that land, and it should never be disturbed because they gave their commitment for the country, and they could have quite easily lost their lives while they were overseas.
Well, the last resting place should be exactly that, the last resting place. And you should not have to pay $25. Somebody obviously, with an eye to profit, got into this business and then sort of saw opportunities to grow the income. I don't know that cemeteries should. Well, sure, there's upkeep and things like that have got to be accounted for and paid for. But by and large, I'm just trying to think. The largest cemetery in the world is in Sydney, believe it or not, a place called Rookwood. And Rookwood, a lot of my ancestors are buried there. And we don't renew any lease every 25 years.
No,
They've been there for centuries.
Originally, when you were buried at Centennial Park, it was in perpetuity. I was there quite recently, about 6 months ago. I wanted to claim my grandmother's and grandfather's gravestone, and the cost was extraordinary.
By claim it, you mean what?
Well,
Take it.
Take it away. The actual marble structure. It's
Well,
a
cemeteries
beautiful
are
thing, actually.
Cemeteries are amazing places if you're interested in history, particularly local history.
Yeah.
On the
Did
positive
you-
side, they've got the best coffee shop in Adelaide down there,
Do you
right in the middle
realise
of the
that-
garden.
Yeah, do you realise there's an association that owns several cemeteries, not just Centennial Park?
No, I didn't know that. Is
well-
it when you say an association? Are you talking about a corporation or?
Yeah, there's a corporation that own. I can't remember exactly how many, but there's several. The funeral grave association or whatever it's called in Adelaide, and they own 4 or 5 different cemeteries by the same organisation. And I'm not sure exactly, but I think it's Enfield is owned by the same group, and High Marsh one there, and there's one at Centennial Park and a couple of others. And I think the West Terrace is part of it as well.
Obviously, good business. People are dying to join up.
Well, I mean, I've got a couple of friends who are in the funeral industry, and they tell me how expensive a funeral is, but also how much the profits are.
Yeah.
And like with some Italians and some Greeks and, Europeans, they want to have one of these big coffins and all the rest of it. And a coffin can cost $50,000, $60,000 or more. just a box to put people in. And some of them now, like unfortunately at the time when my father died, or before he died, he was sick for a couple of years, and then somebody talked him into one of these coffins, which were almost like a big shell, like a cocoon. And it's very expensive. We didn't know what was happening because he did it all himself. And then he said, "Oh, look, I was sick and I was trying to organise everything for myself and Mum." When I came home to have a look at it, I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Oh, it's already been done now. We couldn't do anything about it." So it's very expensive.
I would imagine, but going back to the cemetery, John, I would have imagined that cemeteries would be a not-for-profit kind of setup. So,
That's what I would have thought too, Jeremy, but it doesn't work that way. It really doesn't.
Well, if it's a not-for-profit, I mean, can you imagine the land tax they're paying? I would think it wouldn't be free of all those state charges and fees.
Well, I believe, and I can be correct on this, I believe the Mitcham Council are what you call like the caretakers of Centennial Park. That's what I believe. And, all they're about is making money. And, I just found, just to watch them inter the ashes, like they probably take about 30 minutes, but they want an additional 260. How much more money do they want to sort of suck out of you before they're finished,
I've got no idea. But anyway, listen, I'm sorry you're going through it. How's Pat?
Pat, she's progressing slowly, Jeremy. She's getting better. The endocrinologist has said he doesn't want to see her no more. He's referred her back to her GP because she's kept her blood sugar levels reasonable, and she only has to do a blood sugar level now once in the morning, and then she does the insulin in the evening. But she's been having readings of 6, 7 and 8, and in the eyes of the Diabetic Association, they're good readings because she's sort of keeping on in control. Every now and then, if we end up with a dispute in the house, that doesn't help her because apparently anything that upsets the nervous system can help push the sugar levels up.
Yeah, well, give her our love and keep her safe and well.
I will, mate. No worries. Thank you for that, and I hope the rest of the day is a good one for you. Let's hope the year is going to be a good one for us.
I agree with that. Let's keep our fingers crossed.
When you can't find a friend, you still got the radio. Singing with the when radio. You can't find a friend, you still got the radio. The radio. Still got the radio. The radio. Listen to the radio. Still got the radio. Listen to the radio. Radio. Listen to the radio. Radio.
And you can listen to the radio, or you can be on the radio, 049 65 68 60. Gary, Peter Solano's here, and so is Gary. Gary, you're doing very well with a lesson that was, I think, 30 seconds long.
A whole 30 seconds, Tony, devoted to me. Thank you, Tony.
You should have been paying attention when you were here.
It's working like a charm. Renmark got up to 49.6 degrees on Tuesday.
Oh, my God.
Almost 50 degrees. A scorching week in South Australia, but there is relief coming, I think, Saturday. So we just got to get through to today. We're going to get 41, I believe. But put some water out for the birds if you would like to do that. Be a really nice thing to do.
And how are the ducks going, Jeremy?
Oh, not too well. No, she is a lousy mother.
Oh, dear. There's a few of them around.
She started out, Caroline, how many babies did she have? She had, there were...
I heard they're down to 3
11.
or 2.
Well, I think we're down to none.
Oh, dear.
She behaves very strange.
Got their own private swimming pool too.
And you should see it. It's bright green.
So jealous.
It's bright green. I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with that.
Got to be the only guy in Adelaide who's devoted a swimming pool to the ducks.
Yeah.
Well, you can't turn the filter on if the ducks, because the ducks will go
They
straight
get
through
sucked into
the skimmer box. Yeah. How many were there, Caroline? 11.
Now there are 2.
Oh, there are 2 now.
When I went to feed them last night,
Yeah.
she wasn't there. They were just the 2 in the
She's probably out on the town. I told you she's a lousy
She's
mother.
flown the coop.
Yeah, but is it a cat taking them though?
No, I don't. No.
A lot of
No.
Taken them for a walk. She chucks
She-
them over the balcony, and then they
Yes,
come up the stairs
very
and they're
strange.
Yeah.
Very strange.
The survival of the fittest there.
So mother takes them for a walk, leads them up to the edge of the balcony,
Yeah.
and just pushes them over the edge.
Really? They're too young to fly.
Oh, far too young to fly. Yeah. But the last time this happened,
She needs a good talking to.
yeah. Well, the last time this happened, I think it was either last year or the year before. We got one of those nice wildlife people to come and
take
'cause
the
they're
birds.
quite skilled at catching them.
Yes.
Oh, except they kept the cage open at the other end, and they
Oh, that
they
they would go straight in the front and out the
that's a
back.
true
They're
conservationist.
they're good at catching them. They're also good at letting them go.
were surprised because we had 14 ducklings.
Yeah.
And they all survived, and they thought that was very strange for a saltwater pool. But I put lots of fresh water around the pool.
We can barely hear you, Caroline.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Come. Talk on the radio.
We had 14, and they all survived, the little ducklings. And the conservation people were very surprised because it's a saltwater pool.
Yes.
But we put containers all round the edge with fresh water in it. But this silly mum, she just drinks from the pool. So
Yes. It could be that it's her first litter, her first collection. I don't know.
I think so. She's quite small.
Yeah.
It's not as big as the other one was, but
Yeah,
so I'd say she's quite young.
What kind of duck is this? Is it a brown duck?
I'm not
it's
a
just an
duckologist.
no, it's just an ordinary duck. You know how they've got a little bit of blue on the side near the wings.
Khaki Campbell.
Is that a khaki Campbell?
Well, I don't know. Someone will correct me because we're on air, but that's my guess.
A
just
khaki
a duck.
Campbell.
Just a duck.
Khaki
It's just a
Campbell.
duck to you.
Just a duck, just like the dog's
There's
just a
so
dog.
many jokes there. I'm going to leave it all alone.
All right. Telephone number 0491 65 68 60 if you'd like to ring.
The last one should last forever. It's all over now, nothing left to say, just my tears and the orchestra play. La 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 la. La 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 la. I had the last waltz with you. Two lonely people together. I fell in love with you. The last waltz should last forever.
Pretty song. I don't know. We got John Bruni there? Oh, he's there. God bless you. Dr. John, when do you leave for Europe?
Oh, no, I don't leave for Europe. I leave for Dubai.
Oh, Dubai. I got that mixed up. So what's the meeting or the conference?
Well, I've been invited to speak at the World Government Summit, so I'll be strutting the stage with a bunch of high-profile internationals, and we will be talking about think tanks and what makes them tick. So I'm actually quite looking forward to it. So well, I'll head off on Sunday. It'll be basically a fly-in, fly-out, so I'll be back next week. Thankfully, I'll be going business class, so it's not going to be it's not going to be so bad.
Yeah, I've never been to Dubai, but I've heard amazing stories about the place.
Well, look, if you could just imagine the Jetsons city superimposed on an Arabian desert, that's exactly what you get. I mean, the skyline is exceptional. And look, I've lived and worked in the UAE on and off over the years, and I just love going back there. I mean, it is spectacular. The people are friendly, and it's just a great experience all up.
Do they let you have a drink?
Yeah, some places.
No. It is, well, I don't know. They may have tightened up since I was there last, living full time, but no, you can have a drink. Absolutely, you can. I mean, you just can't get drunk and wander around the street and throw up in a gutter. But I think it's a pretty good.
Well, that's probably a very good thing, isn't it?
Well, I would imagine so. Unless that's your thing, in which case you don't go to the UAE and certainly not to Saudi Arabia.
No. Well, it's interesting. Now, tell me what you make of this U.S. fleet. What did Trump call it? I got a beautiful armada.
Shock and awe.
Oh my lord!
And it's sailing to Iran. What is he going to do when it gets to Iran, do you think?
Well, look, I mean, it's anyone's guess, quite frankly, because Trump likes to strut the stage and use the military instrument. He has got a reputation of taco, which is Trump always chickens out. People have been saying that he could have intervened earlier to prevent the tens of thousands that have been killed by the Iranian internal security forces earlier this month. But then again, I suppose it does take some time to marshal the American forces and deploy them. So there is that very practical aspect to it. What I think is going to happen, and I think it's a greater than 70% chance at this point in time, there will be a military response. I mean, we have to understand that the regime in Iran has been in existence since 1979. And, if you take that long period of time, there've been, bad ayatollahs and various, members drawn from the IRGC who, are nasty individuals and are completely politically incompetent. And then there were a couple of liberalizers who came in through that period of time, and they were smashed down by the hawks anyway. And now we've got, Ali Khamenei, who's, running a very conservative ship, and it's filled with incompetence. I mean, most Iranians have complained over the years that the Ayatollahs spend more time spending money on groups like Hamas, the Houthis, and Hezbollah, Lebanon and Gaza and Yemen, and even in Iraq, rather than spend money on the Iranian people. Now, one of the reasons what sparked the major protests earlier this year was because people are running out of stuff. Shopkeepers can't trade because of international sanctions. There's a water crisis where even the Ayatollah was saying we might have to, evacuate Iran, or Tehran, I should say. Tehran is, the capital city, and it's got a few million people sitting there. So how they would even think about doing that is anyone's guess. But they're running out of fresh water. Now, this shows a government in crisis. They don't know what they're doing. Do they deserve to stay there for another 30 years? I don't think so. And I think that if President Trump wants to, he may not be very popular in the United States, but I think that among people in Iran who want to get rid of the Ayatollahs, if Trump were to intervene, he will be extraordinarily popular among the Iranian people after the Ayatollahs have gone. So Trump will have his own international fan base, if you will. He may not have it in the United States and maybe not in Canada, but he'll have it in Iran.
How could you possibly get away with killing, well, I've heard various reports, but up to 6,000 people, your own people, and not have a complete uprising?
Well, look, the problem in Iran, of course, is the opposition. The opposition is fragmented. They've been so busy, tearing each other to pieces rather than focusing on getting a structure where they could unite against the government. So when we talk about the Iranian opposition, we're talking literally about factions fighting each other. And that's been keeping the idea of having a unified front against the Ayatollahs now for as long as the Ayatollahs have been in power. And look, the Iranian internal security forces have run a very tight ship as well. I mean, their number one priority is regime survival. And if memory serves me correctly, I believe that the Ayatollahs had a quote-unquote nuclear option to deal with, major uprisings. And they've had plenty of times to roll this kind of thing out. There was a major uprising in 2009. Then there was one in 2019, 2020. And the Iranian security forces are primed to repress. That's what they do. They're not really good at war fighting. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that they've got crap training. Much of the training comes from places like Russia. And you can see what the Russians are doing in Ukraine right now. I mean, they're not 10 feet tall. They don't have the best equipment. But they're happy to export their doctrine all over the place to various countries that we don't like for instance, North Korea, Iran, and elsewhere. But when it comes to a major war with a country like the United States, the Iranian leadership doesn't really know how to come up against it. So I think that in this case, and also there's another critical thing here, Israel has completely penetrated the Iranian security services, especially those like the IRCG, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, which are their version of the SS. If you think that they've got an armed force and the armed force is just like a bunch of people in uniform, the IRGC is the pointy end of the spear. They're the ones that actually do all the nasty.
So what would Trump do apart from saber rattling? What would he do to help topple that government? What could he do?
Well, there are known, I guess the internal security forces in Iran are called the Basij. They are known, their facilities are known. Their command and control structure is pretty well known. So they'd have to disrupt command and control. They'd have to knock out, major Basij bases in and around the major Iranian cities. So these are targets that don't get up and run away, and they're very hard to camouflage. So long as you've got reasonable intelligence that, yes, this building here is the Basij headquarters, you knock that out, then the ability for counter-revolutionary forces from the government doing anything is heavily reduced, because you need to be able to speak to your oppressors on the ground, you need to be able to feed them, you need to be able to fuel them, and you need to provide them with weapons. So if the Americans go after anything at the moment, it'll be the command and control first and foremost. The Iranian armed forces have always been the second or third wheel in the Iranian security hierarchy. So number one is the IRCG, as I said. Then you've got the Basij, which are the internal security forces that also spin out of the IRGC. And then you've got the armed forces. So the armed forces are designed for the defense of the country Iran. They're not designed to be deployed and fight alongside Hamas or Hezbollah against Israel. That's not what they do. But they also are the poor cousin of the IRGC. With whatever money the Ayatollahs manage to get together, the best weaponry that they can afford goes to the IRCG. The third and fourth tier weaponry goes to the armed forces of Iran. So you can imagine just from that, they're not going to be very good at being able to hold back an American assault.
I heard this morning that the Brits had put the Revolutionary Guard on the list of terrorist organisations. I think it's on our list of terrorist organisations, isn't it?
I believe it is. I'd have to double check, but I think that that has to be the case, because they are known sponsors of terrorist organisations. But look, now we're basically sitting and waiting to find out what Trump, how does he feel tomorrow morning when he gets out of bed? If he feels like he's in a good mood, he may delay a strike by another couple of days. Or he may think, no, bugger it, we're going to go in. So now we're all, the world basically is on tenterhooks. Now, apparently, America, in spite of all of the NATO stuff that's been going on, and there is a lot of that angst going on behind closed doors, from a public-facing perspective, a lot of NATO countries are promising to deploy small penny packet forces to whatever American military action takes place. There've also been intelligence reports on the open source suggesting that there is a surge of American air power moving into the region as well. So I think that if, again, the classic situation is if you start seeing that the Americans are moving in a particular direction, you can't just have ships floating off the Iranian coast doing nothing, because that costs billions of taxpayers' dollars. You either use it or you lose it, or you back down. Now, Trump keeps on saying he wants to make a deal with the Ayatollahs. Well, I think that's rubbish. He doesn't want to make a deal. Have you seen the sort of things that the Trump administration want the Ayatollahs to do? I mean, under any circumstance in any universe, that would be a non-starter for the Iranians. So I think the likelihood of a strike is very high. Now, The thing that we have to watch, and war, there's that notion of the fog of war. We really don't know when we get into the weeds how things are going to turn out. Assuming that the Israelis don't know everything that's going on in Iran, and assuming there is an element of surprise that the IRCG could still undertake before an American strike, we may see, missiles launched against Israel, missiles launched against the Gulf states. We may see a whole host of things happen, because if the Iranians don't use that material now, if they wait for the Israelis and the Americans to take everything out, they will take everything out and they'll have nothing to fight back with. So we have to be a little cautious in our assessments of the Iranians. Yes, everything that I've said about how incompetent and badly run their security forces are. As I said, they're primed to repress the Iranian people more than primed to act as a war-fighting organization. But there's always that little percentage out there that you've got to take into consideration. They may do something that surprises us, and if that's the case, then the law of unintended consequences comes into play, and then we could be looking at something far more serious. Yeah.
There's not a good record of the Americans going in and what do they say? The road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Absolutely. That should be what is carved in stone on the building that runs American foreign policy in DC. Because really, for all the things that they've tried to do and for all the wonderful intentions and lofty ideals, everything the Americans have done, with perhaps the exception of Manuel Noriega in 1998 and Nicolas Maduro 3 weeks ago, have not worked out well. So Trump, to his credit, and I'm saying that through gritted teeth, as you can imagine, but Trump, to his credit, doesn't like protracted war. He loves the military instrument. He loves parades. He's all into that kind of thing. But he wants to go in there, punch someone, and run away. He doesn't want to go in there like sleepy Joe Biden or sleepy Obama or all the other sleepy Democrats, except for the fact of the sleepy George W. Bush, who was a Republican. There is no sense that Trump wants to repeat the kind of military interventions that we've had in the past. Does that mean that America is safe from these things? Again, law of unintended consequences. You may go in thinking you know exactly what to do, and you know exactly how much force needs to be applied in a certain situation, until the other side moves and undermines everything that you think of, and it'll be at that point that things go backside up.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think of all of the examples of that. Iraq,
yeah, absolutely.
Iraq, Syria, Libya.
Yep, all of that.
Endless.
So, well, basically stretching back to pretty much the end of World War II, there have not been a lot of great successes by the United States. So there you go.
Now, tell me about Minneapolis and ICE. What's going to happen there?
Oh, well, we just completed a podcast. We've just loaded it up on our social media channels with Professor Scott Lucas from University College Dublin. Now, Scott's very big on Times Radio, and he's a relatively big name in terms of looking at US politics. And we had this very deep discussion. And I have to say I was rather depressed by it all, because, you look at what's going on, and I have to say the one thing that Scott maintained throughout that interview was that, yes, because I raised the fact that Obama deported more people than Trump. And, MAGA people are saying Obama deported more people than Trump, so therefore Trump is not so bad. Trump is bad, and the reason why Trump is bad is because he's operating outside the country's own legal system. Now, as bad as Obama managed, and even Sleepy Joe managed, America's immigration problem, and America had an immigration problem. No one wants to say anything about that. It was a fact. It's how you manage the problem in a democracy that matters. Now, in a democracy, theoretically speaking, we have independent courts, and those courts maintain law and order. And if you go outside of the law and order remit, then you start looking like an autocratic state. The stuff that we've seen coming out of Minneapolis with the shooting of Renee Good and, Alex Pretty is not American as far as I understand. I mean, I grew up thinking that America was all that, and it's all great, and it's the light on the hill and everything else, and then all of a sudden it's acting like North Korea, or even Iran. So you're going to have to start thinking about the big picture here and stop picking sides, because yes, there were problems, but now Trump is working outside of anything that constrains him.
Yeah. And you reckon he'll get away with it? What's going to happen with the midterm elections? Will he lose both houses, do you think?
The American system is an awkward and peculiar system, unlike our much more, and I will say, superior system in Australia, where every person in the electorate, no matter how disinterested and apathetic they are, they have a duty to their country and they must vote. Democracy, as it was written in ancient Greece, was about compelling the citizens to go out and vote, because back 2,000, 3,000 years ago, they knew that left to their own devices, no one would give a toss and they wouldn't do anything. Yeah. So what they did was that they had a very elaborate way of making people, or no, not people, because of course there was a slave class, a helot class and all that kind of thing, but making the citizens of Athens go and participate in the voting process. In the United States, you've got people who they volunteer, they register to vote. And those that register to vote on both the Republican and the Democrat side are a small percentage of the total US population. Most of the people have an opt-out clause, so they don't have to vote. So basically, elites capture the parties, and the elites play the political games necessary to maintain their control over the party. The American people, on the other hand, are told that they have a democracy and they're free not to vote. But if you're free not to vote, you're not a stakeholder citizen in your political process. So my question is, to what degree is what we're seeing in Minnesota a reflection of either Trump's will and those who follow Trump, or is it a true concern of the American people, most of whom don't vote, have never voted, and are pretty politically ignorant? I don't know.
So that's why they run around sort of signing people up, the different parties, getting people registered.
Well, they try, and mainly they don't succeed. Young people can mobilize for touch-button issues, but their allegiance to the party structure is very ephemeral. You may be able to convince a young person to go and vote 1 year, and then the next 10 years they're disinterested and they don't vote. So in that sense, how do you tell that the government of the United States is a true reflection of the electorate of the United States? Now, they've got polling, and polling indicates this and polling indicates that. But, as well as I do, Jeremy, a lot of the polling companies have political agendas, and they basically write the script. Whatever floats their particular political vote is what is shown up. Yeah.
What's this movie that's coming out?
Melania?
Yeah,
no,
20. Me neither. But why would anyone think anyone would? The 20 days leading up to President Trump's inauguration. Why is that worthy of making a movie?
Well, I suppose there are people out there who truly believe that Trump is a historic figure, and they're fans of this experiment. And good luck to them. Again, I go back to what I was saying earlier. Is this a reflection of the American people? And if it isn't, I would imagine, just like Melania's biopic, it's not going to have a huge audience. It'll have a dedicated mega base, but beyond that, and maybe a couple of curious historians, but beyond that, there won't be too many people breaking box office records, for Donald Trump.
I'm going to try and get Peter Jennings on. Are you available next week, or won't you be back?
I will be. I'll be jet lagged though.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll check with you on Thursday. But I was listening to Peter Jennings, director of an outfit called Strategic Analysis Australia.
I know Peter. Yeah.
Well, he was talking about the fact that in Australia we have no transparency, and now to get access to freedom of information, we have to pay, and we can only have one thing that we are checking up on or looking for.
Look, I don't disagree. I think that Peter's got some good points when he raises these sort of matters, because there is a creeping authoritarianism happening all over the world. It's not just, The thing with Donald Trump is that it's Trump 24/7. Whether you want him or don't want him, he's going to inject himself into your life. The other day I was speaking to some colleagues of mine, some mates of mine, over coffee, and we always talk about politics. Surprise, surprise. And I said to one of my friends, I said, "Yeah, do you realize that Trump has sucked the oxygen out of the entire world? We don't do anything other than talk about Trump. Even local politics, even this brouhaha happening in the Liberal Party is almost like not even a sideshow. Hardly anyone's really making a big deal about it, except for the hardcore Aussie politics fans. But the general public are more concerned about, say, issues like Greenland, Minneapolis, the Board of Peace, because it's the only thing the media is running with. I mean, yeah, so it's
No, I get your point.
but there is that sort of creeping authoritarianism, and of course in the Australian situation it's a bit crafty, because of course we sell ourselves as the soft liberal, and I use that term liberally. That's a joke. But we sell ourselves as the soft guys in the room. We're okay. It doesn't matter whether you're Liberal Party or Labor Party. We've got a kind of left of centre culture in this country anyway, from a political perspective, and we can on-sell through the public service a lot of more autocratic ideas, which get traction. And then all of a sudden we find out that what once was something that we could do free of charge, and we can do multiples of, like with the freedom of information, all of a sudden, the doors have been closed mainly, and then you have to pay for the service. And then not only do you pay for the service, you're limited in how much you can dig in. Now that's an autocratic situation that we're putting upon ourselves, but because the public service is creating the space, not the politicians can talk all they like about freedom and democracy and freedom and blah, blah, blah. But when you, the citizen, want to go to government and find out stuff and the door is firmly closed, then you have to question who's kidding who in terms of our democratic culture here.
This billion-dollar board of Donald Trump's, there's an interesting list of people who'll say, yes, include me in.
Yep.
And there's another list of people who don't want a bar of it. Australia is what's Australia? Making up its mind, I think, isn't it?
Oh, look, we'll be making up our mind. But in the end, I look at Albanese and I don't know. I don't even know what to say about him. So late last year, he sold whatever we had of our sovereignty to the United States, right? So the Americans are going to be garrisoning Western Australia and the Northern Territory. So why the hell do we need to spend on our armed forces, is anyone's guess, except for sending our armed forces to weird wars that are of not our national interest, like, for instance, I don't know, maybe an Iranian strike or something like that, or an Iranian occupation. We'll be standing shoulder to shoulder with the Americans. But at the end of the day, Albanese signed away our rare earths to the United States and the US global supply chain, which effectively means, what are we? Are we a Commonwealth territory of the United States now? We're not going to be the 51st state of the United States, but the idea that we're the Puerto Rico of the South Pacific now is a very real deal. And as an Australian nationalist, I'm actually quite concerned that no one's raised this as an issue, that everyone just let Albo sign the land away effectively and say, oh, no, we're still a sovereign country. No, we're not. You just did. I mean, and it's not that Australia ever had a very strong sense of itself. I mean, it did have a stronger sense, but under multiculturalism, we dismantled all of that. The weaker your internals are, and the weaker that you front up to the world with a unified image of a strong government, patriotic people, behind it, whatever it's Labor, Liberal, whatever, but, we're all one people doing one thing. We end up not looking like a middle power, like, our government keeps on trying to convince us that we are. We start looking like a small power, pretending to be a middle power, because something like Mark Carney, for instance, Canada's not that much bigger than Australia. It's also very rich in terms of resources, like Australia, and yet they flipped the bird to their southern neighbour in a way that would mortify our elites in Canberra, mortify them. Oh no. ANZUS, AUKUS, they are sacred and holy texts, and we can't question them publicly because if you do, you don't understand national security. We can't do anything, Jeremy. We can't do anything. We can't build a tank. We can't build a ship, not without the United States. We certainly can't build a submarine, and let alone a nuclear submarine. The United States has to be there and has to do everything for us. And those documents, ANZUS and AUKUS, are sacred to our protection. And I think to myself, with that sort of mentality, you are never going to get a strong Australia, because a strong Australia needs to know how to say no to the United States. It also needs to pick up the slack, just like the Americans are expecting the Europeans to pick up the slack from a defense perspective. Where are the factories? Now, here's an interesting story just on that. Australia has a cultural cringe, of our military forces have a cultural cringe about buying Australian product. We've got drone factories and counter-drone factories here selling Australian manufactured drones to the other side of the planet, to places like Ukraine. The Ukrainians are happy as all hell getting Australian technology. Guess who's not buying Australian technology? 3 guesses. Go on.
Us or America?
Yeah. Us, America. Even the Americans take more of an interest in our technology than Australia does. So it's not that we can't do it. It's that we just simply have this bloody-minded cultural cringe mentality, and it destroys us from having a face in the international community. Now, that's a problem. And especially now that the international community is spiraling out of control. And if something were to happen to the United States, which means that it radically alters its position both politically, socially, and in every other way, we now have wedded ourselves to the United States. When they go down, sadly, we go down. And even if we don't go down as fast and as hard as the United States, who else do we have beside China? Exactly. And that leads to another very uncomfortable discussion.
Yeah, I see that that's an interesting thing too. The CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, have been linked to a taxpayer-funded solar company with a lot of solar projects in Australia. Yep. And the company is being led by an Australian Communist Party official. How did that happen, and what are the implications of that?
Well, why would we be surprised by a story like that, Jeremy? We've got plenty of people that are of a particular political bent who, in spite of their communist beliefs and progressive agendas, like making money just like anyone else does. Yeah. And they will sell out their own idealism in order to make a buck. So, no, am I surprised? No, I'm not surprised. Am I surprised that it was an Australian national? No, I'm not surprised that it was an Australian national. I mean, there are many things that we do here from a governance perspective. We do tend to ignore local entrepreneurs, ignore local businesses and industries. You know, from a startup perspective, you know, we may have world-leading stuff. And if the rest of the world recognizes it and is happy to purchase it on the international marketplace, why domestically can't we get that stuff up? And why does our government poo-poo everything that we do here? And similarly, why do Australians always kind of think, well, we can't do anything? I mean, this is not the kind of environment where we can hold on to the coattails of the great and the good, expecting that they have our best interests at heart. Because, I mean, not that they ever did, but there was a time where things weren't quite as wild as they are starting to develop. And if we don't have a proper national base, if we don't look after ourselves, if we don't have some sense of independence from all this craziness that we see, we will go down, and it won't be happy times even here in Australia. And the tyranny of distance will not save us.
Good to talk to you, and you have a safe flight, and you'll be back. I'll check with you on Thursday to see how you feel for Friday.
All right, no worries.
In the meantime, we can catch you in your podcast. How do we do that?
Okay, the Focus Podcast, iTunes, Sage International website, Spotify, all the big podcasting platforms we're on.
Are you going to start selling the T-shirt?
Oh, look, that was just an experimental run, but yes, I will.
I love it. Dr. John
You're
Bruni.
Listening to the Court of Public Opinion with Jeremy Cordeaux, where the time is 10 a.m. Australian Central Standard Time.
Hey, what's the weather for the weekend gonna be? Will it be hot, cold, rain, snow? Ooh.
And the weather today in Adelaide, it will be a partly cloudy day.
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by, brought to you on, brought to you by RADI.
Certainly are. Telephone number is 0491 65 68 60. Peter Solano is with us. Gary's with us. And Professor Ian Plimer has just walked in. How are you, sir?
I'm upright, above the grass.
You certainly are.
Still punching.
That's a good
God
way
bless
to be.
you. No, we need you. I want to plug this book of yours because I truly think it is a wonderful book. Skeptical Always. A view at three-quarter time. Well, you're nowhere near three-quarter time.
That's a bit generous. I'm way over three-quarter time. If it was three-quarter time, I'd live to 110.
No, but I really commend the book to you. It's just full of wonderful stories. Do you have a favourite story?
Yes, the environmental impact of creation. And this is where God has decided to create the heavens and earth.
Yeah.
And as soon as he makes that decision, he gets hit by litigation from Greenpeace. And it's God's difficulties in taking a rib of Adam to make Eve, and of course we had the transsexual lobby and the vivisectionists and the animal rights group all carry on. And under today's environmental laws, it would be impossible for God to create the heavens and the earth.
So why did God allow the Greens and all of those crazy people to get such a foothold?
Well, I'm not so sure, but the Greens are just a substitute for the Communists. They've been around for a long while.
Different colour. Yeah.
A different colour, but the same brutality. And yes, there's about 12% Greens, and I think a lot of these are idealistic young kids who really haven't achieved anything in life, don't own anything, are not really prepared to get out of bed early and bend their back, and they eventually get out of that. Yeah. But there are some old rusted-on Greens, a bit like the old Coms, and they're a bit painful.
Yeah. What can you do about it? I mean, I firmly believe it all starts in the school, but you've got a generation of people we're going to have to work through before we can actually get back to putting the right teachers in the classroom, teaching the right thing.
We have kids coming out of school now who cannot read, who cannot write, especially cursive writing, who cannot think, who cannot use logic, who cannot create an argument and argue their position. And that goes right back to the teachers from very, very early days, where the kids are fed propaganda, where if the kid wants to write a story or make a presentation about Australia or the flag, they can't. If they want to make a presentation contrary to the popular paradigms, they can't. So we have had the freedoms taken away from us, and it starts in the schools. It started a long, long time ago, probably 50 years ago. The concept of working hard, the concept of scholarship, it doesn't exist. So we actually have to start from the bootstraps up.
Yeah.
Sadly, there's a push currently interstate in Victoria mainly, where they're wanting to push back the start time of schools to around about 10 or 10:30 in the morning.
I'm waiting for the 4-day week.
Well, that makes it very hard for working parents. It also means that the kids don't get enough time to have rigorous learning. Rigour, of course, is some sort of discrimination if you're rigorous. And so I think we have a structural problem that is right across the West, and that is that the West is destroyed by cancerous growth from within.
Yeah, well, I suppose things do rise and they fall. There's no...
This one keeps rising.
Yeah.
And we have universities now. I think we've got 45 universities. And it's very easy to get to university. You just have to have a pulse. And you can get a degree in left-footed lesbian Morris dancing and then wonder why you don't get a job.
I haven't seen that on your business.
We need to look more at what's happening overseas. Like with the Japanese, for example, they don't start their children until they're about 5 or 6 years old, and the first couple of years they only teach them manners. They don't teach them any learning, and then from then on they become very good students. And if you look at a lot of the Asian countries, like even European countries, Italy, they start very early, but they finish like 1:30, 2 o'clock. They've finished. The whole afternoon is free.
Yes,
So
and the
several other
Japanese
countries-
system is where you have almost no immigration.
Yeah.
And so they're able to preserve a culture which a lot of countries have decided that multiculturalism is the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Yeah.
And I think it's shown to be incorrect. I used to teach in the German university system. I was at the Ludwig Maximilians Universität in Munich. And the Germans had a system whereby if you were to study in Munich, you couldn't come from Munich or anywhere in Bavaria.
Oh, right.
You had to come from elsewhere. So you might have kids come from Kiel, right up in the north. Now, they spoke a different dialect. They weren't living with their parents. They had to board. They had to work to keep themselves alive. And the Germans were very proud of their culture. And so kids could learn Goethe. They could learn classical music. This was all part of the education. The degree was normally after the kids had done 2 years of national service, and they were a very, very different sort of student.
Yeah.
And so that national service, I think, made a fine quality of citizen. And, of course, once you started to get massive immigration with the Gastarbeiter, the Turkish workers mainly, doing all the dirty work that Germans didn't want to do, the culture changed. Yeah. So I think it's very much about our culture. It's very much about how we deal with people coming from different cultures and wanting to establish another culture in this country. And the Japanese don't do that.
How do they get away with that? Why isn't there any criticism from the United Nations or somebody that says you can't discriminate? You must keep your doors open. Everyone should be welcome.
Well, if you're expecting criticism from the UN, you can forget it. They are a toothless tiger. The second thing is that the UN basically is dominated by socialists.
Yeah.
And
but we seem to be scared. We seem to be very upset when they give us a bad report card on this, that or the other thing.
Well, if you get a bad report card, you can do a couple of things. You can adhere to what they want you to do, or you can say, I'm sorry, we're going to stop funding you.
Yeah,
and that's what we should be doing.
Well, we never should be funding them in the first place.
No, that's right.
Just a useless organisation. They put out a fairly decent Christmas card, and they're very good with the cocktail circuit.
Well, apparently, but they're also very good at hiding Hamas terrorists in UN buildings and UN operations. Yeah. And so you really wonder whether the UN is actually interested in world peace, world prosperity, and the only way to get out of poverty is to get wealthy, and they seem to want to make wealthy countries poor and hand out money to corrupt despots in third world countries. That's been going on for generations.
At what age do you think, Professor, a child should go to school? How old were you when you went to school first?
I was different. I was in post-war times when there were a flood of children. I'm a baby boomer, the first year of baby boomers. There were a flood of children. There weren't many teachers. Most of our teachers were returned servicemen. And so I went to school at 4, and because I could read and write, I got pushed up a year, and because I could still read and write and better than the other kids, I was
So you were 4 and you could read and write?
Oh, yeah. And by the time I'd finished high school, I was 15. It was far too young, and I repeated the last year of high school simply because I was too young to go on, and I went to university at 16. Now, that was an exception because this was post-war times, and I had parents who were very keen to see us get ahead and pushed very hard, and I lived in a different generation. Kids today probably should get away from screens as quick as possible, and maybe they should be going at 5. Maybe they should have national examinations along the way to make sure that you don't get oddball teachers in parts of New South Wales or Victoria or Western Australia giving political propaganda. You should actually set a standard for young kids to achieve, and those standards should be rigorous. Now, a lot of people don't have that sort of ability in schools. They might be great footballers, they might be a great carpenter, and so scholarship is not for them. And I think fairly early on, you need to recognise that, and that happened when I was at school. We had the technical schools and we had the high schools and colleges which dealt with more academic subjects. So I think we've lost our way in the education system, where we're training everyone to be equal, which pushes everyone down to the lowest possible level. We have teachers who are nigh on illiterate and certainly can't think. In former times, students would do a degree and then they'd do a 1-year diploma of education. So they already had a speciality. But now you can do a degree in education and end up as a teacher.
Teachers should be inspirational people.
Oh, yes, and I had a
very
couple.
few of those. But what about now that they're advertising that the children at school got too much screen time, and they're teaching everything with have a look at this, have a look at this. They're just, they're, like you said a while ago, too much screen time.
I think it's a very hard one to beat, because at home there's a lot of screen time. Kids demand a mobile phone at a very early age. They use mobile phones for all sorts of nefarious reasons. And there's a lot of schooling now where you actually don't do things. You might have a PowerPoint presentation, but you don't do things. I'll give an example. In physics at high school, we learnt about friction. And the way we did it was to put a block of wood on a table. We had a .22 rifle bolted to that table. It was a bolt action, single shot. We would measure the weight of the block, then we'd fire a bullet into this block, measure how far it went, weigh it again, so we had the block plus the weight of the bullet, and we would work out the coefficient of friction. Now, that was a fabulous experiment to do. Every kid wanted to do that.
Absolutely.
Mind you, I went to an all-boys high school. We also had experiments in chemistry where we had noises and bangs and smells and colours.
And fluffing everywhere.
and we all got interested in making bombs.
Of course.
Which we did. And we had a chemistry club, and the chemistry club, the whole purpose of that was to make a bigger and better bomb. And that got me interested in science, the actual doing of things, not being taught friction with an equation on a blackboard. That doesn't have much meaning.
Hands-on exercise.
And I found in teaching geology to university students, the best way of teaching is outdoors. Take them up to Akarula for a couple of weeks. Take them out back. Have them camped out. Have them observing all the time, because most people don't get taught how to observe.
Well, that's on-the-job training. You can't
It
beat
is,
that.
it is.
It's like doing an apprenticeship. You go in and you sit with the master, and the master teaches you what to do, and you watch and learn.
Yeah, I would have loved to have been a kid in your class. I would have loved that. I'd loved school instead of hated school.
Yeah.
Should they have co-educational schools? Does anyone benefit from having girls and boys?
Well, I've only ever been to an all-boys school. In primary school it was girls and boys, but in high school it was all boys. So I really can't give an opinion. My experiences were that we were an all-boys school, but nearby we had an all-girls school, and we used to lust over these girls on the train going to and from school and where we had to get off.
Sounds healthy to me.
Well, we didn't get distracted at school, and we had ex-military people. So I remember, again, our physics teacher was approached by a kid who complained that he had too much stress. And this bloke said, "Son, you wouldn't know what stress was. If you've got a Messerschmitt 109 up your ass, that's stress." And then he used that opportunity to show us how you can skid a plane going forward and sideways, and it was fascinating.
Well, we had a
and
teacher.
That's real physics in action, how to survive.
We had a teacher who taught geography and history. And he'd been through the First World War, and he'd been gassed. And he had a metal plate in his head. He was always talking about the metal plate in his head because it made his hair stand up. He could never, his hair would never lie down. But it gave him this sort of mad professor look.
Yeah.
But he was fantastic because you could get him on to some episode of the war, and he would talk for the entire period about something that was really interesting to kids of our age.
Yes. Well, we were all interested in it. I had a French teacher who'd fought in the First World War. I had a mathematics teacher who was he was a brigadier, but he was a POW in Changi. I'd had a German teacher. She'd only just come out of university. She was only a couple of years older than us. And in the German classes for the leaving certificate, she had a great love of classical music. There were only 3 people in this class for going for the leaving certificate. Only 3 people. You couldn't do that today. And so she used to, in a double period, put on, say, Beethoven or Mozart, and we would have to discuss the music in German. And I already had a great love of classical music then. It was a wonderful way to learn German, and we only had 3 people in the class. It was incredible. Our science teachers, most of them had been in the war. We had a English teacher who was actually a card-carrying communist, and he was an outstandingly good teacher. His private life in politics was very different, and that was kept separately. But we had a very rigorous learning, and we had discipline. We had to wear school uniforms. If we had coloured socks, we would be in trouble. And I used to get caned a lot. I used to get caned for being a smart-ass. I mean, can you believe that?
No.
I mean, it psychologically damaged me permanently. But anyway,
whatever happened was a good thing because look at the end product.
Well, I don't have any regrets about the teachers using a cane because a school full of boys was fairly wild. We had fairly energetic kids. We had teachers who knew about discipline. Most of them were former soldiers, and they wouldn't spare the rod.
Yeah, but the problem with that was, unfortunately, I came to Australia, and with all due respect, we could not afford a full uniform. So I'd never had a hat. So I'd get caned every morning for not wearing a hat. I couldn't read, write or speak English. And because my spelling was so bad, I spoke grammatically is the way you say it or pronounce it. Yeah, phonetically. And the teacher, at 10 out of 10, I'd get only 1 or 2 right. So I get a cane for every word that I got wrong. So every morning I knew I was going to get caned.
I can identify with all of that.
And it was that was like I'm saying, from that point of view, it wasn't a good teaching method.
No.
You know, and I couldn't help it that I didn't have the right socks because Mum didn't have time to wash them, or I didn't think to wash them. You know.
How many in the family?
Well, there were 6 in our family. Yeah. So, you know, it was just tough. That's all. The first couple of years was tough. And I remember one time Mum went out and bought some trousers, shorts, so we can go to school, but they were like more charcoal. They were more like black than grey. And because they weren't grey, they're school colour grey, mine was a bit more charcoal, we used to get caned. You know, you used to have to bend over, smack on the button or on the hand.
But would you be where you are? I mean, it sounds awful, and I've had the cane more times than I can remember, and you do get the feeling that you get picked on. If you're at all different, you'll be picked on. But is it not part of the education?
I'm sure the seed of my own rebelliousness was that I would not wear the school uniform.
And you got away with that?
No, I got caned every Friday afternoon, but I redesigned my own school uniform and presented it to the.
Well, I don't. Except for things being hard, I don't think you gentlemen would be the people you are today.
Look, I accept the fact if I did something wrong, they could punish me. Yeah. But the fact that I had no choice was not. It's not my fault. Why should I get blamed, or why should I get penalised?
That's the world.
Yeah, I mean, I could not read and write. You know, it was up to the teachers to teach me to read and write and speak English. You know, so they have to have some tolerance. You know, okay, this kid's from here. Well, we won't cane him, or we won't punish him. We'll give him extra tuition or something like that. Then I'd say, oh, great. I mean, if I went out and punched somebody and I got caught, give me the cane. Great, I did something wrong. But, you know, like I used to get picked on every day because you know, we were wogs, and there was a whole group of people used to pick on us all the time. So what we did, we had 4 or 5 other people get together, and if anybody picked on any one of us, the whole 5 of us would go and beat the crap out of that person.
Sort of like a mini mafia.
Oh, it was. No, it was like we used to march across the schoolyard like Roman legions, you know. We all stuck together because, you know, we had to. We had no choice.
Professor, why is it that Americans are so good at dialogue? American school kids, and it must start. Yeah, must start in the schools because, you know, if you go to America and you put a microphone underneath the nose of somebody in the street, just a vox pop, and you ask any question you like, you will get a 30-second, concise, intelligent grab opinion. Yeah. They just seem to be incredibly good at putting words together, thinking on their feet, and yet we, for some reason,
just
don't.
All talk and no action.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, yes and no. I see a lot of video clips of Americans being asked simple questions. Yep. Geographic questions, especially anything outside the US, and they're lost.
Oh, yeah.
Most of them don't know the number of states in the US. Most of them don't know the countries bordering the US. And you ask them a really tricky question, like, what are the 2 countries that border Canada? And they can't answer it. It's Denmark and the US, of course.
Alaska.
Well, no, Alaska was once Russia. It was sold for $7.2 million. I think it was about 18.67. I think we discussed that last week.
Yeah.
And so, yes, they're very good at flapping their lips, but is anything useful coming out? And they're very good at dealing with media, but is it of substance? So I wouldn't agree with you with that. They can talk, but quite often they talk nonsense.
One of the things that is going on in the US and has been for many, many years is in all schools they teach rocketry.
They teach rocketry?
Indeed, they do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is because of their fixation with space programs and whatnot.
Since the 60s.
Yeah.
I mean, you imagine how kids would go for that.
But that'd be very interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Lessons.
Oh, they'd love it.
Of course,
They'd
we've
love
got
it.
a space school here now in Adelaide.
Well, I've been to America on a few occasions for different courses and different things that I've done. And I know one thing for sure. If you're driving along in a car, you stop and ask for directions, they have no idea.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, they have no idea. I mean, I know that in Adelaide you ask people about where's this district, that one, or that one. A lot of people don't know. And that's always surprised me. You know, I mean, in Adelaide, with all due respects, you could name a new district and I'll tell you approximately where it is, you know. But when I was driving through from one side to another or from one area to another area, I stop at a service station and ask them, and they couldn't tell me. In those days, I'd say, have you got a street directory? They say, yeah. I'd look in the street directory, find the district, and they say, oh, is that where it is? Honestly, they just don't know. They live within a block of their, you know, like within a very small square metre areas.
You were blessed because there were service stations in those days.
Oh, yeah, those days, yeah.
Now, these days, if you go into...
Oh, now there's GPSs.
Well, you go walk into an on the run, and you know you'd have to speak a completely different language, Indian. Yeah, it's funny about that. I don't know why.
They own it.
They own it, do they?
I think they own part of it, but also the fact there's a lot of the students which are studying here. That's the only reason they've got good jobs. You know, like a lot of the students in a lot of the restaurants and a lot of the things, they're Asian, European, you know, African, whatever part of the country they come from, but they are here working to support themselves.
I know it's a big export business, foreign students coming to do a course. I'm not altogether convinced they actually do any course, but once they're in the country. Do we have too many foreign students, Professor?
Well, I've found in my teaching at universities that the whole business model was constructed for a university to thrive on the number of foreign students that paid fees rather than scholarship. And I found that I got over that problem because people who have a degree in geology or mining engineering have to sign off on certain things and they have to get professional accreditation for it. So I changed the game, and for 30 years or so, I was giving them a handwritten essay. It had to be done in cursive writing, and so I might get 4 foreign students submit an essay to me. It was identical, right down to the commas. And I would ask them, well, folks, why is it these four the same? And if you can't give me a valid reason, I won't be marking them, and hence you're not going to be doing very well at the end of the year. And the other thing I used to do is I used to wander into lecture theatres, and if there were four students sitting next to each other, normally from the same country, I would walk in and say, OK, folks, the good news is no lecture, the bad news is you're having an exam. And I would give out 4 different exam papers to those 4 students. And with the handwritten essays, there were 1 or 2 foreign students that you could see were struggling with language but were doing it themselves and not working as a group. And I'd be very sympathetic to them. But others would just cheat. And universities now have a lot of students who get a degree that cheat. I'm not going to sign off on the fact that these people could be a mine manager and be responsible for the lives of others if they've cheated. You just can't do it. So I was really popular in various universities for failing a large number of foreign students. But my view is if you come to this country, you've got to be able to communicate in the language. And if you're at a university, you have to be able to communicate at a high level. And if you can't, bad luck. The second thing is you can pick straight away if someone has pinched something from the internet. The language is different. And you can always tell if someone has plagiarised. You don't need any software for this, and you can't use the software on the handwritten material anyway. And I knew the literature so well, and I'd set subjects that I knew so well that I knew that sentence had come from a publication and it wasn't their work.
As well.
Plagiarism.
Well, they don't read any longer. That's the problem. They want it fed to them. So I'm quite pleased now to be out of the university system. I think they would have a lot of problem with someone like me, and I'm very pleased to be living a different life.
I think it's a sad fact that many students come to this country and pay their way through as a way of achieving a PR, permanent resident.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
I was just talking to somebody.
Often funded by the family at home who are waiting to come over once these students.
Or the other way
come
around.
And if they get permanent work after they've finished their course, they will get PR.
Well, I was talking to somebody at one of the institutes that I did a presentation to just recently, and the guy there who's running the institute said that they've got a lot of foreign students from Africa and different countries that come in here, sign up for a particular course, and some of them are just like nursing, aged care, whatever it is that we need. That's what they've signed up for. You know, and then what happens is within 3 months they're not there anymore because they've gone off and found a job somewhere else. So they've still got their student visa, but they can stay here and renew their student visa for another year or so, but they're working full time, some of them, and not studying at all. But they're sending all the money back to
that's
home.
the backdoor immigration that is rife. But
that's happening a lot.
I was in Saudi a couple of weeks ago, and I was out in the mountains with a geologist who was explaining what he'd done, and he was Sudanese. And I said to him, well, what university did you go to? It was Khartoum. There are 5 universities in Sudan. Of course, there's a civil war between the north, the Muslims, and the south, the Christians. And he was working and getting well paid and sending his money back home. But I was really quite surprised. He was extremely highly motivated. He was a very, very good worker. He had a lot of knowledge. And this whole company, the government mining company, Mardin, was a bit like the United Nations, people from all over the world, and they were really good people technically. So it's not a universal case of people coming from abroad that end up abusing the system. And
Oh, no, I never said that. I believe
I think a lot of them do.
Professor, what I noticed that on Australia Day there were more of these cases of burning the Australian flag. And somebody, I think it's the Premier of Queensland, wants to make it against a law against burning the Australian flag. I would have thought there was a law that.
I always thought it was.
Yeah. But apparently it is. It's described as free speech.
It's an offence, but you're allowed to do it. as a demonstration or something.
Well, it's a
Well, you're quite able to go and murder someone too, but that's against the law.
Yeah, that's right.
should it be allowed that people
Well, I
can
think
burn the
it
flag?
should be a criminal offence.
Yeah, I agree.
I was at an Australia Day celebration in Broken Hill. There were about 12 people who received citizenship, and they were proud to have an Australian flag flying. They were really proud to be Australians. And I thought that was just absolutely wonderful to see.
Professor, wonderful to have you here. I've got Jim Penman. I don't know if you know the name.
Oh, I know of him, yes.
Yeah. Jim's everything. Almost everything. We've got a phone call we're going to put into him. Can you stay for a little while?
A short while, yes.
Short while.
I've been away so much that
I
I've
know,
got various household
I know.
duties. I was on the high seas for the last couple of days, and before that in Broken Hill, before that in Saudi for a couple of weeks.
You have such an interesting life.
And I'm actually home for a week, then I'm off to Roma, that's in Queensland, not in Italy,
too bad.
for 4 or 5 days, then I'm back again for a little while. I go away and the dog gets depressed, so I've got to stay back a little bit more.
Well, I'm just really lucky that you just live up the road.
Yes, it's wonderful.
It is
Stagger
wonderful.
down the
Take
hill.
me with you, take me with you.
Professor Ian Plimer, ladies and gentlemen.
This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. Age of
Slowly slipping away, my love, like a shadow on a windy sea. I was hoping that I'd hear you say by now you're coming back to me. Slowly slipping away, my sweet, and there's still not a word to say. I was hoping that I'd hear you cry, my love, you're coming back to stay.
That's a pretty song. Jeremy Cordeaux with you. JeremyCordeaux.com is the station that you are listening to, wherever you happen to be listening to it. If you would like to give us a ring, 0491 65 68 60 is the telephone number. I was telling you earlier about Jim's mowing, or Jim's everything, really. Now, he came out with a statement the other day, picked up by news.com, that the public service is so bloated, he reckons that you could cut it by 2/3 and we probably wouldn't even notice. Jim Penman, are you there?
I am.
How are you, sir?
I'm good, Jeremy. Yourself?
I've got Professor Ian Plimer here. Morning. And Peter Solano and Gary. And Caroline's making tea. I wish you were here and we could give you a glass of wine or a cup of tea.
Neither of which I drink, but thanks for the thought.
Is that true? You don't? What do you drink?
Mostly wham, hot water and milk.
Really?
Yeah.
You are a very interesting character.
Well,
I'm surprised with outspoken statements like this. Businessman Jim Penman has launched a blistering attack on Australia's government bureaucracy, calling for it to be cut by 2/3.
yes.
God, you know how to rock a boat.
There's two things, Jeremy. First of all, public service is incredibly inefficient. I used to work for them, and my job was half my time, and I was trying to do more. And the other thing is that so much of what they do is not only useless, it's actually destructive. So we're paying billions of dollars to public servants to do things that are just completely, they force up prices and they force down quality. I see this in every phase, everywhere I look. There are these ridiculous, ever-rising torrent of regulations which make no sense. My wife wants to set up a beautiful wedding venue. And she wants to have it so she can run as a restaurant and a conference centre. Oh, no, you can't do that. You've got to have a license to one or the other. Why can't you do both? Why do you spend government bureaucrats spending their time making insane things like that?
Well, how did we get ourselves in such? How did we get ourselves into such a mess?
I have no idea. I do not know. I honestly think if parties elected and they said they gave their true policies, like Labor Party says, well, look, our policy is that we are going to have massive amount of government regulations. We're going to have more and more public servants forcing directly recruitment. We're going to make sure that all public works take twice as long as they should and cost 4 times as much because there'll be so much union bedding. But vote to us and we'll give you that. Fair enough. But they don't. They pretend that it's all free and it's not. It costs.
Yeah, well, Professor Plimer is nodding. I don't know what we do about it.
I think there's a solution, which as a politician you'd have to be brave, and that is to say, well, look, we're interested in everyone in Australia. We'll shift the Department of Treasury to Gladstone, where we generate a lot of money, and we shift the Department of Finance to Port Hedland, where we generate a lot of money, Department of Infrastructure to Rabbit Flat in Northern Territory, where there is no infrastructure, the Department of Ageing, say, to Broken Hill, which has got a very old population, Department of Water to Wilcannia, and long-time employees will say, yes, we get water every 12 years coming down the Darling. And what would happen is the precious public servants wouldn't go and live in towns that other Australians live in, so they would resign. And then those people who make decisions would be face-to-face every day with people that those decisions affect. And I think you wouldn't have to be a government that swings a sword and lets the blood and loses votes as a result. You actually decentralise the public service.
Yeah.
And so you could have, say, the Department of Justice or whatever they're called, put them at Cuba PD, and during a boring time of a long court case you could pick out a bit of opal. And the Department of the Prime Minister and the Cabinet, you have that in the local town hall, a Mechanics Institute in this town or that town, and you try having a cabinet meeting in, say, Cloncurry.
Yeah.
I mean, Bob Catt is just a perfect example of someone who comes from Cloncurry.
Yeah,
so I actually think we decentralise.
So and these people would ultimately be grounded. Jim, what do you think of that approach?
Well, as long as 2/3 of them quit, I'm fine with it.
but you know,
it's true. No, it's true what he says. They have no context of the things that they're actually dealing with. You take business regulation. Labor Party governments in state Victoria, for example, state election and most states, and federally. These people have never run a business. They haven't got a clue. They're all professional politicians, union, come out through the Labor Party bureaucracy. They don't know what it means. So when they put these piles of regulations, they don't understand what they're doing. They don't understand the effects. They just don't care. They just say, oh, here's another 1,000 regulations. That's fine. That's fine. It all seems good and benevolent and benign. I mean, just take the franchising code as a good example. The franchising code is an absolute dog's breakfast. You've got this massive disclosure document that everybody's got to do. Nobody reads it. In the whole history of Jim's Group, I've ever heard one prospect ever read the disclosure document. So they do this incredible bureaucracy to make this happen. It's a feeding frenzy for lawyers. I mean, they love it. It's fantastic for them. But it does nothing for franchisees. Whereas something that I suggested from the beginning is that you survey franchisees every year and post the results would do a massive amount for better service by franchisors, but they don't want to do that because that doesn't employ a feeding frenzy of lawyers and accountants.
I sit on the board of a company called Roy Hill. We were to open an iron ore mine in Western Australia in the Pilbara, which is an iron ore mining district in an iron ore mining state of an iron ore mining country. We needed approvals from local, state and federal government to open that iron ore mine. We needed 4,950 approvals, many of which were repeated in state and federal jurisdictions. This is absolute madness. It cost hundreds of millions. We had billions of dollars, $10.2 billion of bank debt out there, which was being threatened by bureaucrats who were slowing down the process, who were anti-business, who were anti-progress. This is absolutely appalling, and that's where our country's got to. And I think you're being very modest when you say we should be able to slash the public service by 2/3. I think it's a higher number because these people are taking good air and destroying people, actually building a business and employing people.
Yeah, they certainly do. You're not wrong. Look, we wanted to put a conference center. We have a conference center. We wanted to put had a swimming pool. We wanted to close it and put some gym in there. Okay, nothing big, nothing great.
I like that. Jim's gym.
Get approval. 2 years to get approval. 2 years to get approval to do this thing. And part of the argument was this: this could damage some, fire ratings, so you need to get rid of these trees. But you can't because that's environmental. I mean, the fact that you planted 1,000 native trees doesn't matter. You might have to take out 2 trees. But the fire department is telling us to do that. What do they do? Nothing. They said, I'll fight it out. Not our concern. We give you contradictory ideas. You just fill them in. I mean, that's only very minor by comparison. But you multiply that by 1 million times over. And that really, really, really costs.
So the only thing that's growing in this country, really, productivity is down the drain. The only thing that's growing is the public service.
Bureaucracy.
Yes.
The bureaucracy. Well, it must be the simple business of saying, okay, well, we know that we've got everyone on the dole or everyone who is on welfare is going to vote for us. So if we can expand the public service, all of those people will vote for us, and we'll get lots of immigrants in, and they will thank us by voting for us. So we'll be in for life, don't have to do anything.
Well, we have some great immigrants who join Jim's group, I must say, and buy franchises. So I'm not totally on that one, but in general, yes, that's absolutely correct.
Yeah, but the bottom line, I suppose, is when you look at your history, your business, it is the largest franchise business in the world, isn't it?
No, it's the largest in the Southern Hemisphere.
Okay.
Subway and stuff.
But you've not yet begun to fight. Come on.
Jim, didn't I heard somewhere that you've got more franchises than anybody else. Is that correct?
In Australia, yes.
Just in Australia, but
just under 6,000.
How many different franchises do you have? Like
about
you've
50
got
different
gyms.
divisions.
Sorry.
About 50 different divisions. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I heard. That most of the other franchises overseas don't have that many different divisions. So
but the total number is a bit less than 6,000, though. So we're not one of the biggest. Well, we are one of the larger ones in the world, of course. But mind you, you've got to put it in perspective. Our franchisees might give us, $800 a month. If you're a McDonald's franchisee, you're going to pay a lot more than that in fees.
Yes, I appreciate that.
Did you have any idea how big this was going to get when you started it?
No, not a clue. Somebody asked me when I first launched how many we'd have, and I said maybe one day, if we're very successful, we might have 100. It just surprised me.
And it started with the lawn mowing business.
Yeah, that's right.
And now it's everything. There wouldn't be a limit, really, when you think about what you could franchise.
Well, we don't do site-based. We're not good at that sort of thing. But anything that's service. I had a great conversation yesterday with somebody who wants to do health coaching, which sounds a fantastic division. I really hope it goes ahead, where you give somebody a $39 a month, and they have a thing to fill in, and somebody talks to them every week and goes through the process and stuff. And guys doing it, it's a tremendous demand. I think it's great. That's just yesterday that came up, so we could do anything.
It's $1 billion business, $1 billion turnover.
Yeah.
Well, you should be very, very proud. Very proud of that. In this article that I spotted from news.com, it said that you now support the Libertarian Party.
Yes.
That sounds interesting. What do they do?
Well, basically, the key things that I'm on about are zoning. Zoning is one thing that could be changed. Zoning doubles the price of housing. Zoning also massively increases rents. There's no benefit. It transfers money from ordinary people to multimillionaires. To be blunt, people like myself. Like I bought a couple of properties 20 years ago for $2 million. They're now worth $10 million. Okay, now what did I do? I don't really care anymore because I live in one and the other's my office, but still $8 million worth of capital gains. And that's pulled out of the pockets of ordinary people. I don't rejoice in that. It's just a pathetic thing. The Libertarians are the one party that's really committed to doing something about that. I mean, I used to support Liberals. I've even done fundraisers for them, but they're worse on this than Labor. They really are. They've got these deep-pocketed people who contribute money to the party, and they love the fact that their property is going up. They're the multi-millionaire class. We don't need to take money from battling Australians to give them to the multimillionaires. They've got enough. We've got enough.
Yeah, the housing thing is interesting. Somebody told me that it's almost half the money that we spend on building a house is made up of state, federal and local taxes.
Well, it's taxes, it's regulations. It takes months and months and months to get permission to do anything. It's also the fact that you can't build organically and properly where you want to. So it says, quarter-acre lots. Why? But it's in the city. Why can't we have terrace houses? Why can't we build 2 or 3 stories? If you took off the zoning regulations, like the Houston in Texas, good example, they don't have strong regulations and house prices are half. Rental prices are way, way down.
Yeah.
All you've got to do is to stop the government from interfering in people's right to do things with property, and rents would come down, property prices would come down. It would not suit the plutocrats, but it's good for ordinary people. What about the homeless, people who can't afford to rent? What about them? They're dying in the streets because the government makes renting unaffordable.
Yeah. Wouldn't you think we could go somewhere and find the perfect model? Somebody who just happened to, either through hard work or inspiration or just good luck, just get it right and just look at that as a model and copy it.
Well, the question is, though, who's going to vote for them? Your party structures are not designed to do anything good. If you're voting Labor, you're basically voting for the unions and for the green bureaucrats and the civil servants who want massively, massively more money spent through their pockets. That's what you want. If you're going for Liberals, you want people who are rich already. They're not going to vote for the interests of ordinary people against their own class, are they? You own a property, it's going up like a rocket in value all the time. You don't care unless you've got kids who are trying to buy a house. But what can the major parties offer? Because they're people who bankroll them and support them, have got an interest in the status quo. That's why I've gone to libertarians. I know it's drastic, but it's a sensible part of that. There's some great people in it, and they're going to try and do the things necessary, like cutting back the civil service because they don't care. They're not supported by the unions, and cutting back zoning because they're not supported by multimillionaires.
Do they have a slogan?
Not that I know of.
Well, there was a wonderful guy, I can't remember his name, he was a senator, and I would have voted for him. I'm not even sure what party he belonged to, but he said his party, the slogan was, vote for us and we'll leave you alone.
Look, I would say government has useful things to do. We need police forces. We've got pretty good police forces. We need health and medical systems. We need clean air and water. There's very useful things for the government to do. But there's so many things. Look, perfect example is the taxi industry. Now, for years and years, for decades, the government restricted medallions. They said you can't have. Why? Oh, better service, better this, more safe. Yeah, garbage. You get Uber and the rest come in. What do you find? Service goes up, quality goes down. All you need to do is to take the blind hand of government off the neck of business and things improve out of sight.
It says here that you might run for the Victorian state election later this year?
Possibility. Hasn't been totally decided yet. I put an application in. We'll see what's going to happen. Yes.
What did your wife say?
Oh, she's used to me.
Good luck to you, Jim. Good luck.
She gets frustrated about it too. She's a builder, so she knows how bad it is. With building codes, for example, we have things that are completely widespread and normal systems in the EC. It's one of the most heavily regulated, bureaucratic, safety-conscious in the world. Why can't we use them here? Australian standards. Now, what garbage is that? If it's good enough for the Germans and the French and the Italians and the Austrians, why is it not good enough for us? I could just go on and on and on about this stuff. It's just garbage. It's not anything to do with safety. It's saying, let's try to do everything we can. Let's spend billions of dollars on bureaucrats, and let's have the lowest, the highest prices and the worst product we can possibly get away with. That's our aim.
Oh, gee, I'm falling in love with you.
We want higher prices, worse service, and we're going to tax you hugely to pay for it all.
And the other point you make is that you've warned that Australia, and that is basically the ordinary Australian, is going to become poorer and poorer, and it won't affect the millionaires at all.
No, of course not. Look, in a sense, some of this stuff is good for me. Like I said, property, buy for $2 million.
Yep. No, I get it.
As a multi-millionaire, I don't suffer from it. Even the garbage about franchising. Okay, I am a major franchisor. I have employed full-time lawyers having more regulations doesn't affect me, but people are trying to struggle to get set up. That's a problem. So in a sense, if you want to protect the people who are established and hurt the up-and-comers, yeah, sure, government's great for you.
You give me the impression that if you were starting Jim's Mowing again right now, if you were starting now, you wouldn't be able to do it.
It'd be really, really, really difficult. I had to spend a lot more money on lawyers than I ever did at the time.
And how long has Jim's Mowing been going?
89 we started. We launched the franchise, June 89. So
89, that's not a long time to build a $1 billion business. Congratulations, that's fantastic.
Well, it's not worth $1 billion, Jeremy. It's worth a lot less than that. They tried to put me down for the BRW rich list, and I said, don't be ridiculous. I'm not even close.
Yeah.
In order of magnitude.
You've got to be careful with businesses. I heard this morning that 2GB, 3AW, 4BC and 6PR, these are the main talk stations in Australia, acquired for about $280 million, sold for about $50 million.
Wow.
Which is...
Yeah, it's pretty sad, actually.
It is.
Some of those talk radio stations done a great job.
Yeah. I was going to ask you whether or not the media gives you a fair shake, because clearly you're somebody who can show the way. A lot of the journalists and people, broadcasters and so forth, they give the government a very easy ride. It's a very compliant media. I never hear, I hear the politicians sounding off, but I never hear the question from the assembled journalists.
Actually, we've had pretty good support from News Corp, I must say. If it wasn't for them, you'd be a deafening silence. All the left-wing major, and the ABC is the worst of the lot, which really infuriates me because they're government-funded. I mean, it's fine for the woke 5% to have their own, media outlet, but why should the rest of us pay for it? You idiot woke lefties, if you want to have your say, then pay for it yourself. Don't ask us to pay for it.
Yeah.
ABC is a joke, but News Corp's not bad.
No. It's just that I wish more journalists would say why. Or, Minister, would you explain that? They just come right out and say it. They at that media conference where the Treasurer was admitting that he wasn't comfortable with the current inflation rate, which is probably the worst in the developed world. He wasn't happy with it. Well, it's downright disgraceful. And we know that it's been caused because of the high cost of electricity, and that's because of the obsession the government has with renewables.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that. We're paying double in real terms what we did 10 years ago, double what they charge in the States, treble what they charge in China. Come on. Of course it affects the standard of living.
Yeah, I mean, if you got hold of somebody like Chris Bowen and said, hey, Mr. Bowen, sir, are you aware that Indians are paying 6 cents Australian, equivalent to 6 cents Australian per kilowatt hour?
Yeah, burning our coal.
Burning our coal? They can do it. We can't. Where is the logic, sir?
It's stupid. It really is. And it really hurts ordinary people. That's the thing that really infuriates me. If you look at the competing elites, like the green elites and the multi-millionaires and the leaders of unions and all that kind of stuff, yeah, you've got a system that really works. They just divide it up between them. But ordinary people, stuff all. Really. You pay an extra $500,000 for a house. You have to get a mortgage to get that. That's like $33,000 a year for 30 years. Sorry, yeah, $33,000 a year for 30 years. Can you imagine the burden that places on people? It's so unnecessary. They don't have to pay it, except the government has set regulations up to make sure that the prices are forced up.
Well, we keep electing them.
We very well do. It's about time we stopped. But I think zoning is one area we might be able to get some push. The Labor government in Victoria, I mean, not much loathsome as it is, and it's an awful government, but at least they're making some small efforts to unlock this thing. And I think the anger in the community is such. I get very good response to this sort of stuff. I tell you, we did put it out on social media, and we've never had such a strong positive. A lot of people don't like things that I say, but 96% at least are in favour. They say, yes, housing is too expensive, rent is too expensive. We want affordable houses, affordable rents. So that's got some, if we get enough of a campaign going, then there's a possibility we could shift that.
Well, apart from winning votes, it would be just wonderful if we could have people like you and Professor Plimer going into the schools saying this sort of thing to these young kids who are growing up being indoctrinated by left-wing rubbish, just to try and balance the education system and give these kids coming out of school in years to come more of an idea of what the world is and what it can be like and how they can change it.
Well, whether I could fight the entire bureaucracy of left-wing unions and so forth, I don't know. I mean, I think teachers should be paid more, actually, but I think they should also be sackable. I mean, if we didn't waste so much money on stupid, unnecessary bureaucracies and regulations, we could afford to pay more to people like nurses and teachers, which are really crucial jobs. I don't actually favour giving less to people who need it. I think we can give more if we don't waste so much.
Yeah. Well, Canberra insiders look after themselves. I see that the Australian E-Safety Commissioner has been given a $74,000 a year pay rise. Her salary now is $536,000 a year. Chrissy Barrett, she's the head of the AFP. She got a huge salary increase, and her take-home salary is now $816,000.
Yeah. Wow. It's pathetic. And so many of the jobs are just so useless. These diversity, these green people. You know, I get every now and then, like, people send to me and say, give me your what do you call it, policy about equality of sexes, this kind of garbage. I will not reply to it. The fact of the matter is, most of my departments at the moment are run by women. I'm not going to go out and sack a woman because she's a woman, even though she's the most competent person for the job. And I wouldn't do it if it was a man either.
Yeah.
Rubbish.
You hire the best person for the job. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah. I don't care whether they're male, female. I don't care if they're heterosexual, homosexual. I do not care. I don't care what race, ethnicity. None of these things matter. I want to know, can you do the job? That is all that should count.
You're describing
government bureaucrats telling me how to run my business.
Exactly. You're describing a meritocracy, and that's what it damn well should be.
Yeah. I think people who discriminate is stupid. If you say you don't apply a person because they're a woman, because they're a man, or because they're the wrong ethnicity, well, you're an idiot. Okay, and you'll suffer by comparison with companies like mine that don't.
Yeah, well, bless you. You deserve all the success that you have. What was it like at school for you? Were you a good student?
Oh, not really. I was a maverick.
I get that feeling.
I got into trouble posting things up on school notice boards, which would get taken down and told not appropriate. So, my best friend was suspended and told me to stay away from me as a bad influence. So I was lucky not to get suspended myself. So no, I wasn't a good kid.
Can I be rude and ask?
Enough, actually, I was against the religious side of it. I'm now a pretty strong Christian, but you know, I'm against whatever's going on, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. I mean, can I be rude and ask how old you are?
73.
73. I sort of thought of you as being younger than that.
Well, if you didn't, I look my age as a wizened, white-haired old guy, but I don't feel like I can tell you.
No, well, look, you sound about 25.
Yeah.
You've got good energy.
Yeah. Did you go to university?
Yes.
Did you go to university?
Yeah, I spent 10 years.
Really? What did you study?
History.
History?
I ended up PhD in history. That's why I ended up blowing lawns for a living. That's pretty logical, isn't it?
Well, you know, the one thing we learn from history is that we learn nothing from history.
Yeah. Well,
history repeats itself.
Things. I'm very interested. I've got a research project now, which is I'm spending about $3 million a year looking at ways of using the experience of history to help people to live better lives.
That's good.
But, yeah.
Have you written a book on it?
There's one coming out in the next few months called Birth Rate Crisis, talking about the reasons for the birth rate crisis and what we can do about it.
The birth rate crisis, I mean, we're not having babies, are we?
That's right. We are not having nearly enough babies. We're just dying out. And it's just a bad thing. Then there's a reason that people think it's money. It's not. It's character. It's a change in character. It's all got to do with dopamine and the effect of wealth.
Yeah. Well, I've really enjoyed talking with you, Jim, and anything we can do here in Adelaide to promote your cause, your logic, your business, I'd be absolutely delighted to do it.
Thanks, Jeremy. Appreciate it.
No, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much. Jim's mowing. Jim's everything. Jim Penman.
Yeah.
Interesting character. Very interesting. Give us a ring if you'd like to. Here comes the 11 o'clock Pips.
I'm going to.
You're listening to the Court of Public Opinion with Jeremy Cordeaux, where the time is 11 a.m. Australian Central Standard Time.
Hey, what's the weather for the weekend gonna be? Will it be hot, cold, rain, snow?
And the weather today in Adelaide, it will be a partly cloudy day.
You may not find us on your TV.
And bloody hot.
Because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by. Brought to you on. Brought to you by RADI.
Now, it's pretty hot. I don't have a thermometer in here, so I can't really tell you what the temperature is. Nice and cool in here. As I said, it's a wonderful thing, air conditioning, and we must look up and see who's this. We must look up and see who...
Answer?
Yep. Hello?
That's Maria.
Hello?
Hi, how are you, Jeremy and gang?
I am well. Well, we've only got half the gang here.
Hi, Maria.
Hi.
Gary speaking.
We've got Peter Solano, and we've got Gary and Caroline,
And yourself.
who is about to get me a glass of wine. It's 11 o'clock.
Oh, a little bit early.
Oh, no.
No, sorry I didn't ring earlier. I was doing a ring around to check that all the friends are okay, and I was watering the garden and putting out some water for the birds. So that's why the late call.
Yep.
Okay. Caroline's just telling me that we've got an interview lined up for 11 o'clock.
Right.
Can I ring you back?
Yeah, sure, not a problem.
Okay, well, let's do that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
All righty. All right. Because this is the this particular gentleman is he runs as I said to you before, a service station, the last service station in South Australia, possibly the last service station in Australia. It's called Silver's Auto Centre, and it's in
Gilbert Street.
Gilbert Street. Calling. Okay. And when we set this up,
Oh, that sheep.
when we set this up, I promised him that I'd ring at a particular time so it wouldn't interfere too much with his business. Hello?
How can I help you?
Oh, it's Jeremy Cordeaux speaking. I'd like to speak with Jimmy if I could.
Yes, certainly. He's just on another line at the moment.
Okay, I hope he's not talking to another radio station.
I don't believe he would be.
Are you his daughter?
Yeah, I am.
Uh-huh. So it's a real family business.
It is, yes.
How are you doing today with the heat?
Yeah, not too bad, to be honest. Yeah, coping.
Yeah.
How about yourself?
Yeah, well, we're nicely air-conditioned, and I was just asking earlier, I wonder who it was who actually invented air conditioning.
Oh, yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, because it was
Have to Google it.
Yeah, it was a fantastic invention. It's right up there with the motor car, and you look after the motor car, and that's a very good thing, and the last of the line when it comes to service stations. How long have you been there?
Well, they've been in business for 45 years, but at this premises, I believe, I'm not too sure. Let my dad tell you that part.
Okay, all right.
But yeah.
So,
But they started at North Adelaide, and then at one premises, and then moved up the road in North Adelaide again to another, and then started Silver's in the City. So,
Silver's in the City, I like that.
Yeah.
Sounds like a casino.
No,
yeah, that's it.
your dad is Jimmy Rigari?
Yeah, his real name's Vincenzo, but...
Oh, Vincenzo, right, yeah.
Yeah, but he's...
Good Italian name.
That's right, and people couldn't really pronounce it the best back then. So Jimmy was what he got called instead.
So where did the Silvers come from?
Silvers and Killicote, I believe, back in the day.
Silver and Killicote, yeah.
Silver's Auto.
Yeah. Silver and
So
Killicote.
it sort of originated from
Legends.
there.
Yeah. Was anybody else in the family working there?
Yes, so my dad's in business with his brother Rocky.
Right.
So they're the two brothers who started, and then also Rocky's son Adam is the main mechanic here, and also Rocky's daughter Renee. She does like the accounts and the bookkeeping side of things.
A wonderful family business by the sound of it.
Yeah, and then I'm Jimmy's daughter, who they call me like another little Jimmy. So
Now,
running around being.
So when I pull in, and I haven't, my wife Caroline has, you looked after, this is where I got the idea to ring you up and bother you. She came in with a needing some air for her tyre, and I think was it Jimmy? It was.
Yes, but originally 2 weeks ago I pulled in there when I dropped you off in the city for an appointment, and I needed petrol. And I went to this lovely place, got out, was going to fill up my tank, and this lovely lady came out and did it for me and washed the windscreen. I thought, this is marvellous.
This is service.
This is service. And I told you all about it. And then 2 days ago, 3 days ago, you heard my car going tung, tung, tung as we were coming back from Torrensville.
Yeah, I thought I thought it might have been a wheel bearing.
And then we went into the city because you had another appointment.
Yeah.
I'm a chauffeur. The tyre pressure thing came up, and I tried to put air in it at the service station in Pulteney Street, and I couldn't do it. And you said, well, while I'm having the appointment, why don't you go back to that wonderful place you spoke about in Gilbert Street?
Yeah.
And I did. And Jimmy looked at my tyre and said that there was a tack in the wheel. Tack screw, and he repaired the tyre and did it straight away, and it was just incredible service.
What did it cost?
Should I say?
Yeah.
$55.
You're joking.
That is very cheap. Because I thought, when I heard that noise, I thought it was a wheel bearing, and I thought to myself, God, what the hell's that going to cost?
That would be really expensive if that was the
Sorry,
case.
Yeah.
Sorry. What's your name that we're talking to now?
Bianca.
Bianca. Hi. Sorry, because we never got that originally. Bianca, I've been to your service station a few times in the past, and I've actually, when Jeremy said, "Oh, there's one here," I said, "There's still one in Adelaide," and then he said, "That's the one."
That's the one.
Amazing. That's so great.
So if you do advertising, you could do still the one or
the only one.
The only one.
That's it. Yeah, I know.
And your dad was so nice because not only did he attend to my wheel straight away, but he took me in and sat me down at the office desk so I was under the air conditioning.
Yeah. He's a very good human, my dad. I'm not just saying that because he's my dad, but he really is he's someone I always look up to. He's very good at carrying himself and being of service to people. And I did ask him one day, because I've only been here the last 2.5 years, and I said to Dad, how have you been doing this for so long? Because it is quite stressful in a way, and it's very busy. And he just goes, oh, I just like to see people leave happy at the end of the day with their car. So that's his motivation at the end of the day. So that's nice. That's his why, you know?
Yep.
His reason for, I guess, pushing on and doing what he's doing. So
Well, tell him to get off the phone so we can talk to him.
I know. Let me put you over now.
Wave at him or something.
Wave at him.
That's it. Okay, just hold the line. I won't be long.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bianca.
You're welcome.
For a great range of top brands, including
here's
Kumo,
the ad.
which we highly recommend for passenger
At
vehicles,
least it's not
trucks,
awful music.
4x4 and light commercial vehicles. We're the tyre specialists, which means we can match your tyres to your vehicle's make and model to ensure you buy the right tyres for your car. Keep moving with the best tyres in town. Talk to us when you come off hold. We'd be happy to help.
Oh, that's a good little lad.
Family owned and operated since 1978, we offer a range of automotive services, from minor to major repairs, brakes and suspension, air conditioning regas, logbook servicing, tyres and more. Basically, we're your one-stop auto shop. Book a service and we'll see you soon at our Gilbert Street workshop or swing past to grab some fuel.
Huh? Say it again.
We could invoice
When only the best will do, book your car in for a health check.
Where I
and
was sitting in the
experience
office,
top-tier
there was an
Gilbert
old
service.
photo from 1946, I think, or 48, of the premises in O'Connell Street.
O'Connell Street. I can't imagine where they were in O'Connell Street.
Yes.
Yeah. I've often thought, when you do get put on hold like that, it's such a wasted opportunity to just play music to people, but to have an ad, you
Just like the good
can sell your business while you're waiting. Makes sense. Oh, come on, Vincenzo.
We offer a great range of top brands.
You don't suppose you're shy, do you?
Well, I did take a lot of convincing, or tried to convince him, and then I had to recall yesterday.
Tire specialist.
You want to just bring him back.
Bianca, come back.
Keep moving with the best tyres in town. Talk to us when you come off hold. We'd be happy to help.
This is the second time we've run the ad.
Hello.
Oh, how are you?
Vincenzo, how are you?
Oh, flat out.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. That's why I tried to ring you dead on time.
Yeah, that's all right. Jeremy, that's all right.
I've got Peter Solano here.
Ciao, Vincenzo.
You can talk in Italian if you want.
I'm not very good talking Italian. I won't try.
No.
No.
It sounds like I know that you're the last service station in the state, possibly even in Australia, but it sounds like you've got a wonderful, thriving family business.
Oh, it's definitely thriving. Definitely thriving.
That's
yeah.
good to know.
So people do respond to the idea that, you come in and you can get those things done, like the windscreen washed and the tyres pumped up, the oil checked, the tank filled, in the old-fashioned way. Why did you stick with that business model and everybody else has gone to I don't know what you'd call it, the
self-serve.
Well, it's self-serve, but it's also so strange that customers have to look after themselves these days, and you can see it happening in supermarkets as well.
Yeah. Oh, I think the reason why we kept it was because we've got the workshops connected basically to the service station, not directly connected, but connected to as one-stop shop. So it's best to keep it as the old-fashioned way, is that because a lot of people come in for other reasons, not just fuel, punches, they need wiper blades, there's issues with their cars, and we're here to help them, and try to give them the best service as possible.
These modern cars where you don't seem to really need a mechanic who knows what he's doing. You have somebody called a diagnostic technician, and they just plug your car into a computer. Which tells them what's wrong, if there is anything wrong.
Well, that's only just the start of fixing the problem. The computer sometimes tells you what the issue is. It gives you an idea what to look for. Maybe sometimes it tells you directly the problem, but then you still got to use your nut to work out what you have to do. It's not so easy just plugging in. It's fixed. It's not.
Yeah. Well, I don't have anything with terribly modern technology in it.
Yeah.
So I look around and I think to myself, how do I find somebody who can take one of these older cars, somewhere from the 60s, 70s, and you do the old-fashioned thing, like the grease, the oil change, you check the fluids, check the radiator.
Check the brakes.
In other words, a service.
That's it. But a lot of these young kids coming up today, they obviously they don't know what a set of points is, that they wouldn't even know what it looks like, So it's a different world now, in car repair.
Well, thank God you're there, because there are a lot of old cars that need that kind of hands-on knowledge.
Yeah, well, that's right. So I sort of wonder, when we were all dead and gone, well, it's going to be a different world, I sometimes wonder how the people going to really get the cars fixed, really. You know, the older cars.
I don't know, but I think we've seen the best of it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Oh, well, more strength to your arm and long live your business. And
So, Jimmy, I've just heard from your daughter Bianca that your nephew is one of the mechanics there.
Yeah, he's been a mechanic for 30 years here, and we've trained him up from year dot.
So
and he's very good at his job.
how many staff do you have there? How many staff do you have there, Jim?
Probably it takes about 10 staff between the two girls, between the girls and the driveway. About 10 staff. We'll have 10 staff for sure, easy.
And how many actual mechanics do you have working there?
Five.
wow, no wonder you're busy.
Yeah, and I could do with more, an extra one or two, but problem is these days you got no young kids that walk in and say, "I want to be a mechanic."
No.
They just don't. The computer world's changed everything.
Yeah.
They go for different things.
How far in advance? How far in advance do you have to book to get a car in there?
Approximately about a week or two.
Yep.
That sort of advance. We sort of try to turn them around as quick as we can.
Any favourite car that you like working on?
The Toyota, still the best.
Well, yeah, that they seem to be pretty bulletproof, don't they?
Yeah, they're just fantastic. Yeah.
Any good with Volvos?
Good. Beg your pardon?
Any good with old Volvos?
Oh, yeah, we've serviced quite a few Volvos, they're up and coming. Yeah, the old Volvos, we still service those. Yeah, they're still okay, yeah.
Have you seen a P1800 lately?
Oh, not really, no.
I've got one, I'll bring it in.
Yeah, all right, it'd be nice to have a look.
Yeah. Anyway, lovely to talk to you.
And thank you again for helping me the other day. It was very kind.
My pleasure. But that's what we normally do. That's what we do,
No, well, God bless you, and long may you do it.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jimmy.
See ya.
Ciao.
Bye.
Ciao.
Vincenzo. They all have lovely, beautiful Italian names.
Rugari.
Rugari.
Yeah.
Rocky Rugari.
Yeah, well, this is
That's his
Vincenzo
brother.
Rugari.
Rocky. Yeah. Silver's Auto Centre, and it's in Gilbert Street.
172 Gilbert Street.
172.
Down near West Church.
And this is not an ad, this is a public service and a salute to a family business. The last service station, ladies and gentlemen, the last service station in Australia.
It makes me smile and it makes me glad. It makes me laugh and it makes me sad. From the day I was born till the day I go, I want to listen to the radio. It lifts me up and it turns me on, and it stays by my side till the night's gone. From the day I was born till the day I go, I want to listen to the radio. Oh, listen to the radio.
Listen to the radio. I love that. I really do. I'll play you the full long version of it one day. Listen to the radio. Peter Solano's here. Gary's here. Senator Bob Day is about to be here. That'll be in 15 minutes. We're trying to get Maria back on the line. Can you do it? Because she's in our memory bank, isn't she? Literally and figuratively. She's a
regular ringer.
She is a regular ringer. In this program, you can always be a regular ringer or an irregular ringer.
Yep.
You're all welcome. Maria,
welcome,
Yes, I'm here.
how are you, sweetheart?
I'm good. And how are all you?
Well, we are fine.
Yes.
That's good. And your guests prior to the phone call, yes, we've used them as well. And what a fantastic service.
Yeah, so you know about them, do you?
Yes.
Oh, good,
yes,
good. No wonder they're busy. I think if you do the right thing, and particularly if it's almost a novelty, you've got to be successful.
Yeah. Oh, look, this is what service stations were.
Yes.
Service to your customers.
Yep.
Whereas all these big conglomerates, they just want the money. They don't want any service. The more that they can rip you off, the better they like it.
Well, the thing about it is if you go to some of these big service places, and I'm talking about those that are branded,
Yes.
you know, there's a BMW, there's Mercedes, there's a Toyota, there's a VW, Auto Union, all of those. And you look at the facilities there, as somebody just looking to have his car serviced, it's a showroom, yes, but then they've got this huge area with coffee-making machines and cakes and biscuits and leather lounges and, art on the wall. And, logic says, who is paying for that?
Yeah.
You are paying for that.
We are. This is the stupidity of it all.
Yeah.
Jeremy.
Yeah. You go to a place to get the thing fixed and you don't really need to be sitting there in front of an expensive Italian, no offence, coffee making machine.
They're the best ones.
Well, I'm sure they are. However, okay. What's on your mind, Maria?
Oh, so much.
Oh, good.
On borrowed money, Penny Wong is giving Afghanistan through the United Nations another $50 million. Now, Penny, it's our money. We don't want Afghanistan to have $50 million because they are introducing slavery from yesterday. They have ordered women will never be educated.
No.
Never. Now, we are not giving our money to Afghanistan through you and the United Nations. This is a crime. You always talk about women and equality and unity and everything. I didn't hear you come out saying Afghanistan is going to introduce slavery or women are never going to be educated.
Tell me about the slavery thing, Maria. Where did you get this? How are they introducing slavery in Afghanistan?
I don't know the A to Z of it, but they have actually introduced that slavery is on the books. So I'm not sure. One of the stories that I heard was an orphan young girl at 9 was forced to actually marry a 40-year-old Afghani.
Yeah, but this is a very popular thing within certain religions, and that is that you can have these forced marriages,
Yeah.
and women have no rights.
Yes.
If, for example, you're a homosexual, they will kill you.
Yeah.
But I never hear any of the gay rights people jumping up and down and saying, hey, listen, what's wrong with the United Nations? Why aren't they condemning these people? They throw homosexuals off a building. So, you've got time to think about it and pray to Allah on the way down and to amend your ways or something. I don't know. But these are very strange customs in strange countries. But you never hear any condemnation from the media or Penny Wong or any of the lefties.
No, you don't. And they don't have a backbone to bring it out either. This is sick. It's actually sick. I know it's gone on for centuries, but if you are trying to assimilate and integrate into this great country and you're bringing all that with you, all that baggage, no, sorry, move on. We don't want you. We want our way of
Letting
life.
sleeping dogs lie.
Well, it can be said. It can be said.
It's
politely.
Sharia law, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it can be said politely. You can say at the gate, be it the dock or the airline terminal, you can say as they come in and you got to stamp the visa or the passport, so you've got an opportunity to take people to one side and say, well, look, welcome to the great Australian family. These are the house rules. There will be no forced marriages. There'll be no female genital mutilation. There'll be education for women. There'll be equality for women. None of this, you must cover your hair. None of this, you must walk behind your husband. You have no rights and no say and no voice. None of that. Now, if you're not happy with the freedoms that we are offering men and women and everybody of every religion and every stripe, if you're not happy with that, please don't come in.
Yes.
But the trouble is we have never enunciated that. We've never insisted upon any of that.
Oh, we're just multicultural. They'll conform,
No.
It's not true
We've got to integrate a bit more. They're not integrating a bit.
But you know what time? But hang on, Maria. Peter, when did your family come to Australia?
We came out here in the early 50s.
Yeah. Okay.
And, a lot of Europeans at that time came out during the 50s, 60s, and they were encouraged to integrate because they had to go to work.
Well,
what I'm saying is, I'm probably controversial a little bit, but we can't really say what they should do in their country, right?
No.
Let them do what they like in their country.
Yes.
But for God's sake, and like you just said, if you're coming to Australia, then respect the Australian laws.
Yeah, when in Rome, do as the Romans.
Exactly, and live by our standards. I mean, we can't force them to integrate. We can't force them to whatever. They all live in their communities. But we can say, when you come out to our community, you act like we want you to act. It's our law, not your.
Absolutely, and we would respect the behaviour and the rules and the mores of any country that we either lived in or visited. But I'll take you back to about that era, Peter, which was Ben Chifley.
Oh, yes, I remember him.
And Ben Chifley, who was the Labor Prime Minister, and he, with his immigration minister, came up with the White Australia policy, which was basically to try and stop cheap labour coming in and taking the jobs from Australian workers. And it tied in with this thing called populate or perish. And it was a big drive by the Chifley government to get people from Europe to come to Australia. And as an incentive, and this was the thing that caught my eye, as an incentive, the then Labor government, which was a completely different kettle of fish to the one we have today, the Labor government of the late 40s and early 50s, as an incentive, offered citizenship in exchange for assimilation. You had to come.
After 10 years.
Yeah, but you had to come and fit in and assimilate into the great Australian family. And as an incentive to do that, you got citizenship. Now, we don't do that now. We've got this crazy multiculturalism thing, which says you come in and, build your own boat.
Run amok.
Yeah, run amok. It's great. But all of the trouble we have is self-inflicted because of these intellectuals and academics in the modern Labor Party who have nothing to do with the old-fashioned, down-to-earth kind of look after the worker, look after the citizen Labor Party. It's just lost its way.
What we need real people. We don't need everything that you've just said, Jeremy. They're hijacking everything and closing us down when we speak the truth or give the facts. Then they come out and bully and rubbish us. In regards to some of the ads that are running for state election, the Premier was saying above public service nurses leaving, we got 1,500 more nurses. We see no improvement in health. The waiting lists are increasing. Ramping is still going through the roof. Jeremy and others, look, the new ambulance station on Richmond Road.
Yeah, that's the one you can see from outer space.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah.
Well, goodness gracious me, you would think that it could house all the buildings with all the staff. There's 2 buildings on Green Hill Road and the new one. Guess what? You can't fit all the employees in the new one. Now, you've got no vision to include for not only now to remove the 2 buildings off Green Hill Road and put them in Richmond Road, but there's no vision for growth for the future either. Where are these people? They're supposed to be brainy, but I think they're more stupid than the stupid ones.
Yep.
You know, advertising, our money being wasted again with bureaucrats that are unnecessary because they outsource to consultant or third parties anyway,
Yep.
and the bureaucrats are getting paid for not doing their job.
Yep.
Another one, we've mentioned this before, advertising on buses. Yesterday, driving behind a bus, and an ad was showing for a show that was being played last year in 2025 in July, and it's still being advertised on a bus. Where is this person that should be or should have taken that advertising off? This is where our money's going down the drain. There's no improvements.
But why was the government advertising a show on the back of a bus?
Oh, somebody's paying for it.
Somebody's paying.
Somebody would be paying for it, but why would you think the government would be?
No, the government's not. Some agency would be paying for that to be up there, but then they've got nothing to replace it with. So they just leave it there.
Leave it there. Oh, well, I guess there's logic in that, maybe.
Business is just slow.
Yeah.
No,
Business is slow.
No logic in advertising on buses anyway.
No.
A bus is public transport, and if you can't budget your books, and we know we are in debt up to our eyeballs and beyond, no. They're just wasting our money with things that are not right. There's no improvement. Look, anybody in any government, you know, sort of now or into the future, if we see our taxpayers' money going to good and improving, yes, I will say, you know, without a doubt, give credit where credit's due, and I have done that in the past. If things are good, I will actually give it a big tick.
Maria, can I just say something?
Yes, sure.
I've had the pleasure of doing a lot of acting and drama and stuff like that, and about already 8 years ago or so, I was one of those pictures on the back of the bus, right? I was advertising an aged care facility. They paid for about 6 months of advertising. Or, you know, in some cases they paid for 3 months of advertising. I was on every billboard around Adelaide for that period, and they kept swapping it to different billboards. But on the back of the bus, it stayed there even after that 3 month period. It stayed there for another 2 or 3 months because they just didn't, the advertising agencies basically don't have, like Gary just said, they don't have anybody else to put up there.
So you're getting a freebie.
So the company gets a freebie, like those big billboard signs. You know, Clive Palmer's billboard was at Port Road there for about 3 months after the election. You know, somebody else's billboards are left there because they've got nobody to replace them with.
There's a wonderful story about John Singleton. He wrote a book about advertising. I think he probably wrote the book about advertising. Maria, thank you for your call. Have a lovely weekend. We'll talk next week maybe. Please call us. Call us. 0491 65 68 60, the telephone number. JeremyCordeaux.com, live streaming, 9 o'clock until 12 every Friday morning. But John Singleton wrote a book on advertising, and he said advertising is a little bit like proposing to your girlfriend. What you do is if you do it on television, it's okay because it's really like, I'm just getting a glass of wine. Thank you very much, Caroline. On television, it's you're doing it almost live to her, face to face. So that's okay. That's how to propose to somebody.
Yeah.
Oh.
It'd be Bob Day.
No, it wouldn't be. Who is that?
Bob Day.
Oh, it is Bob
sorry.
Day.
Listener.
Okay, just press. Hello?
Hello, Jeremy. Good morning.
Yeah, who's that?
It's Caesar.
Oh, Caesar, good to hear your voice.
Do you want to finish what you were saying?
Yeah, just hang on a sec, Caesar. I'm just finishing a little story about John Singleton. Anyway, yeah, Caroline worked for John Singleton. Yeah, he did. Okay, so John Singleton said that advertising was a lot like proposing to a girl. You do it on television, and it's like person to person, face to face, which is fine. And you do it on in the press, and that's a bit like sending her a letter. And you do it on radio, the proposal, and that's a bit like ringing her up.
Oh, okay.
But you'd never put it on the back of a bus.
Oh, many do some skywriting as well.
Many
have tried that one.
That's another way of doing it. Lateral thinking. Caesar.
I was just reading something about John Singleton this morning, actually, how he cast his eye over the purchase of those 9 radio stations.
Yeah.
He pulled out.
Yeah, he pulled out. I'm surprised that he did, because it struck me as being a bit of a bargain to sell $70 million worth of assets for $50 million. Struck me as a bit of a bargain.
It's unusual that a pub baron would take on radio stations as well.
It's not the first time people who are disassociated or not familiar with a particular thing take it over. Sometimes they have the sense to just let the people who are running it go on running it and put the money in the bank. But others just want to take over and say, well, I'm from doing this business, I'm now going to do this business. You've got knowledge. Part of what you're buying is the staff.
You do remember he did used to own 2GB.
Oh, he did years ago. Yes. But he bought low and sold high.
Now he's bought low and
Good old John.
What do you think 5AA would be worth in the current market?
Well, look, it's a sad thing. I don't think it's worth anything because, look, what it would be a multiple of the profit after taxes. And the last time I looked, a multiple of 0 was 0. So
that's very good, Jeremy.
So I don't think it's worth anything. Romantically, I admit to you, I have tried to buy it, and I'm the devil incarnate around there for some strange reason. But I don't know why they persevere with it. I don't think they know what they're doing.
Just a question on the political front here. We have our illustrious Premier here opening up the swimming centre this week, and everything seems to be falling into place. Live Golf here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
The North Adelaide Golf Course just disappeared off the radar. I noticed he had another minister leave the party today. Andrea Michaels has decided to pull the pin as well.
Oh.
So that makes Mulligan, Susan Close, and now Andrea Michaels, who's the member for Enfield.
Yeah.
She's not going to go on with it, she said. She's going back to the legal fraternity. So there's there's 3 ministers that are pulled out the next election that won't do it. But again, Enfield is a very safe seat. I think.
Oh yeah.
John Rowe's old seat. Same with Weatherall when he left, like Susan Close's seat. You know, did you hear that the mayor of Port Adelaide has put her hand up this week to run as an independent in Port Adelaide?
No, I didn't hear that.
Claire Bond, she's the mayor of Port Adelaide at the moment.
Can she pull that off?
Hey?
Can she pull that off?
No hope in hell. No hope in hell.
It's a very safe Labor seat.
Well, they all are down that way.
Yeah,
you know, it doesn't matter who you put up. You can put up Humphrey Bavera, it doesn't matter. But
No.
one that's interesting will be the seat of Cavell, Mount Barker, because Labor have smartly gone and targeted the mayor of Mount Barker to be the Labor candidate,
Yeah.
And at the moment it was Dan Crean, who was the Liberal that turned independent. So who knows what they're going to do up in Mount Barker. But I'd love to know your views on the seat of Dunstan, your side of town, where it used to be Stephen Marshall.
Yep.
Very close. The last state election, when Stephen Marshall's by-election came up, the Liberal candidate, who I'd love her to come on your show one week. She is an amazing talker.
Mhm.
You know who I mean?
Not exactly, no.
Okay. Her name is Dr. Anna Finizio. She ran at the last state election, been campaigning very heavily. Unfortunately, she polled about 2,500 more votes, first preferences, at the by-election, but this huge Green vote swung it to the Labor vote, and now she's been in the party there. Never said a word since she's been in. But Chris McDermott now has put his hand up to run for Sarah Games, and I think you've spoken to Sarah before, haven't you?
Yeah, Sarah's coming on the program, I think, next week.
She's a very good performer. Unfortunately, she left what she got voted in on the back of One Nation, but now she's on her own. Fair go, Australia, whatever.
Yeah.
But Chris McDermott's going to be her candidate in the seat of Dunstan at the election, which I think is a stupid idea because He has great guy, Chris McDermott. But if they were smart about it, and I'd love you to put this to her, if he ran in the upper house, more likely he would get enough votes to qualify for a seat in the upper house, because the upper house is all over the place at the moment. You got Jin Lee, who's been on your show,
Yep.
Connie Benares, Frank Pangallo.
Yep.
The Greens are going to be up there. They've got seats going everywhere over that place.
Yeah, well, Frank's out of the upper house. He wants a lower house seat, and he's running with the Liberals. And I hope they make good use of him, because he's a great talent.
His vacancy now will be available in the upper
Oh, I
house.
see what you mean. Yes.
So there's a vacancy there. How Connie gets back in, I don't know. Connie Benares. Jin Lee hasn't got a hope in hell.
Yeah.
And most independents don't. I like Stephen Polaris. Hopefully he gets out. He's been getting out there quite a bit. He would be great for the upper house. But apart from that, who else?
Well, I'm thinking of starting a political party. It's going to be called the Pub Test. And if it don't pass the pub test.
Yeah, but the thing with this Dunstan thing is just amazing how. And I'd love to know what Sarah Games' thoughts were about putting Chris McDermott against two strong Labor Liberal candidates that will just dominate anyway.
Okay, Caesar, I will follow it up, I promise. Telephone number, if you'd like to ring us, 0491 65 68 60. I'm just dialing up Senator Bob Day, who has always... But if you want his number, I got it right there on my little screen. Because it's a sort of a two-file system. There's the number right there. We got the system where all of the phone calls we make regularly are in the telephone, which is terrific. But for some reason, we dialed up Bob, and another number came up in our system. And there ain't no such thing as a perfect system. It is true. But I think that will get to the good senator.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Bonjour, bonne année.
Happy
New Year, Jeremy.
Comment ça va?
Ah, très bien. Et toi?
I've got Peter Solano here, and I've got Gary and Caroline.
Morning, Bob.
Morning, Bob.
New Year, everyone. Hello, Peter.
Yep.
I'm trying to get back to you to get on your radio station.
Well, I'm still waiting.
I'm still.
Oh, look, I was on there the other day, and it was good fun. It was a great experience.
It is, yeah. I was on last a couple of years ago, and I'm looking forward to it. But things are starting to settle down now. The election, well, we're hoping the election will be called fairly soon. But,
how's it going? How's it going? Are you all set for the battle?
I think so. Yeah, we're all set. We're set for to run. Just like Caesar was saying, we're another one of the upper house. Although we're going to also run candidates in every lower house seat. That's 47, plus 3 upper house candidates. So we've got 50 candidates running. Jeremy, which will be Peter. Be great, but. We're up against this massive juggernaut of the state government. Look how much money they're spending on media advertising at the moment. Every night on TV and everywhere, there's all this boasting about what the South Australian government is doing on housing and doing on algal bloom. I mean, talk about protesting too much.
Well, are you available on Tuesday evening? I'll put you on the show.
I don't have my diary in front of me, Peter, but that sounds okay. Yeah, for sure. But it's about advertising the government. The John Singleton, everyone's got a John Singleton story, I think. And he used to joke about advertising that only half advertising works.
Yes.
And he just said he wishes he knew which half.
It's true.
All that money, but
that's
the only
true.
one joke I've got for start off the new year was the one about the policeman who knocked on the gentleman's door and said, "We've had a complaint about your dog has just chased someone on a bike." And the man says, "But my dog doesn't even have a bike."
Very good.
Anyway, so there you go. But look, I was fascinated. I could have listened to Jim Penman all morning.
Oh, well, thank you for tuning in. He is remarkable, and any person with common sense is going to go along with what he's saying.
A very, very smart guy, you know. He's Dr. Jim, but he's got a PhD in history and culture.
History.
And personality. In fact, he and I were born within a couple of weeks of each other. In 1952, he was born in the end of May 52, and I was born at the start of July 52. So we're only a few weeks apart. So, but he does sound younger than that. I didn't realise that he was the same age as me until I looked it up. But he's fantastic, and him
got a lot of
joining
passion.
the Libertarians. That was really, there wasn't a thing I didn't agree with him.
No, me too.
Yeah, no, what he was saying was so relevant, and a lot of people are thinking it, but then they don't. When you go to, like you say, the pub thing, you're in a pub talking to your mates, and that's exactly what we talk about. But we don't get that from other politicians.
Exactly. The Libertarians are really good for sort out
too
what you really
disconnect.
think about regulation. And when I was a senator, I sat next to David Lionhelm, whom you mentioned, Jeremy.
That's right. That was the guy I was trying to think of.
David Lionhelm, and he's another doctor. He was phenomenal. He's a vet and an economist, all sorts of stuff.
Vote for me and I'll leave you alone.
Yes.
Excellent.
But he had, you really had to know your stuff if you wanted to, argue about why governments were needed in this particular area or that particular area. But I get on really well with the Libertarians because basically they're a bit like yourself onto free speech and property rights and free markets and small business and free to speak your mind, free to believe what you want, and free to work how you want. And we found that because I'm a bit of a social conservative, what you might expect, and he was very much a free market libertarian, and yet I don't recall us ever having a crossword or a disagreement on much at all in all the time that we were there.
What do you think of this double standard where there are laws talking about advertising and John Singleton and so forth? There are rules and laws about truth in advertising everywhere. You've got to be so careful. Yet with political advertising, whether you put it on the back of a bus or you put it anywhere, there are no rules, no equivalent rules to political advertising that you find in general advertising. You can, in fact, lie.
I think this is one of the great kind of cons that governments have perpetrated on populations forever, and that is that they will be the ones that will protect you from all sorts of bad things in life. The consumer affairs, if there's a bad business out there, just let us know and we'll go and beat them with a stick for you. Government can't protect you. Governments only look after themselves. The best thing governments can ever do always is to give advice. Look, if you're going to buy something or do something, get some advice. Seek a reputable buyer, dealer, and so on. The whole thing about truth in advertising or truth anywhere, it's a bit the old Pontius Pilate question. What is truth? And it's not so much what is truth, it's who decides what is true. You mentioned that Julia Inman Grant, who's the
E-Commissioner.
The E-Commissioner. She's going to decide now what is truth. And remember that clip from Jacinda Ardern from New Zealand when during COVID she
got cut off.
Senator, are you there?
It just got cut off or something happened.
Senator, you don't suppose that's the hand of Canberra coming down with misinformation? And I think we'd better maybe, we'll go back, ring him again. We'll go back and ring him again. But that
what he was saying was really good. It went off, didn't it?
What happened, Caroline? Yeah, it's gone on. Okay.
We lost him.
We'll dial him up again. We can't miss the great Senator Bob Day.
Tony said
Oh. Oh. But we're still on the air. We're playing Nat King Cole.
What a wonderful world you're playing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, it is a wonderful world when
Yes.
it works.
Look, it's a wonderful world. We wonder why it.
Calling.
Hello?
Yeah,
Oh, Senator, I don't know what happened.
Yes, look, I could hear you throughout all that, but obviously you couldn't.
You could hear us panicking.
No. I was just saying while I was filling in till we got you back on the line. That E-Commissioner, my God, she's good looking.
Well,
She said the same thing about you, Jeremy.
Don't pass someone by their looks.
No, look, I totally agree with you.
But look, she is a tyrant. She will decide what is true. It's like I said, that Jacinda Ardern from New Zealand, that she had that press conference and she said, "We will be your single source of truth."
That's
if you
arrogant.
Don't hear it from us. It's not. It's not true.
Well, it's Wales who
decide
recently
who is
have
the
legislated
regulator.
to punish politicians who don't tell the truth.
But who says what's true and what's not in politics? If you give someone the power to decide,
Well, if their lips are moving, you know they're lying.
Well, there again, I just think it cons people into a false sense of security to say we're setting up a truth in this or a truth in that.
Well, the Aborigines are getting away with it.
Themselves.
Yeah, only a few people can tell. Very few people can tell whether it's truth or not. And today, especially with this AI and all that sort of stuff, a lot of stories are coming out which were irrelevant and not true. A lot of photographs have been published which are not true, and it's hard to see. The other night I was watching television and somebody said, "What do you think of this picture?" And there was a picture of a young man going to school, or a boy going to school, and they said, "Oh, this is all AI generated."
You can tell if you look at the eyes.
It's very hard to tell with some of the stories that are coming out, which is so wrong. It's just so wrong. It's like, then you got to repeat, or somebody else says, "Oh, sorry, we made a mistake," or "This is the true story." And the big front page tells you how bad you are, and right at the back somewhere there's a thing about 2 paragraphs long saying we're sorry that story was incorrect. That's the thing that always gets me.
Yeah.
But like most things in life, Peter, you've always got, in difficult situations, you've got 2 choices, 2 options. A bad option and a worse option. The bad option is to allow people to say what they want and for you to work out what it's true or not. A worse option is to delegating to government, politicians and public sector bureaucrats and regulators, let them decide what is true and kind of hand it over to them and say, we don't like what people are saying is false. We don't like this AI generation, which might be false. Can you please pass a law? And of course, you'll always get a politician like a Nick Xenophon will say, vote for me and I will introduce legislation, stop false statements and on. Don't believe them. Bert Kelly used to say, never let the government help you. Because you think government, we've grown up with the idea that government is this benevolent kind of institution and that is there to look after us. Governments are made up of 2 groups of people.
That's the problem.
And public servants. They are not there to look after you. They are there to look after themselves.
Yeah, it's supposed to be for the people, by the people, and all that rubbish is gone by the way.
By far and away, they should empower people to have more resources to be able to look after themselves and make. That's why I used to say every family a job and a house. Because if you own your own home and you've got that little car under the carport there, and you don't really need the government. You can go anywhere you want, when you want. You own your own home. You've got a job, and the governments don't like that. They like people to be dependent on them.
Yeah. Which is why we're seeing that the welfare sector is growing hand over fist. But
what's the voting bloc? Yeah. 15% pay rises.
They love a frightened population,
so they won't complain. But I got my first job in Gilbert Street. Talking about looking
Silvers.
after yourself.
Yes.
Not at Silvers, but just up the road at J.N. Taylor. It was J.N. Taylor's. They had motorbikes and boats, and they were just up the road from. Do you remember J.N. Taylor?
I do remember.
Indeed.
I worked with a lad. His name was Kim Broadstock, and his uncle was Jack Broadstock. Played football for West Adelaide. He was in the paper the other day about. He was quite famous, Jack Broadstock. He'd been in jail, and he was quite a. He was what they call an SP bookie.
Oh, colourful character.
Colourful character.
Lots of cash.
And it just reminded me of that time. Starting out in the workforce. Yep, I'll work for $10 a week, pushing a push bike around the city for J.N. Taylor's, picking up spare parts for motorbikes. And
those ones with the big cage on the front.
Well, you're basically learning about the real world, which is a wonderful thing to do.
Well, as I used to say, when I used to say, look, let people work for whatever rate and at whatever hours they want.
Yes.
And all these executives would say, oh, but they might be exploited. And then I said, well, how did you get started when you built, your business? And away they'd go, oh, I started off picking peas for, 50 cents an hour and I'd be working all day. I said, yeah, that's right. That's what you did. And now you want to prevent other people, young people, doing what you did and getting a start and that first step on the rung. You want to, it's no longer helicopter kind of parentage where they kind of hover, but they call it lawnmower. Where they kind of mow the grass in front of their children or in front of young people so that it's all nice and smooth for them as they walk. But life's not like that.
No. Well, I tell you what, we need more politicians like you and we need more politicians like Bert Kelly. Wasn't Bert Kelly wonderful?
He was the best. He was
fantastic.
Hero. He was called the Modest Member.
The Modest Member,
yes, I remember about him called the Modest Member, the Modest Farmer, the Modest Member. And... because Black Jack McEwen, who was the Nationals leader, Deputy Prime Minister, he despised him. And
wasn't Black Jack Prime Minister for about 7 days or something?
Yeah, I think he was, yeah. And he had this jibe at Bert Kelly once, and it kind of put Bert on the map. And he said, so we've now got another speech by the Honourable Member for Wakefield, Mr. Bert Kelly, who I hear has got a nickname called the Modest Member. And quite rightly, because Mr. Kelly has a lot to be modest about. Well, that little jive.
Not to mention his modest member.
It really put Bert, people then realised that he was getting under the skin. And you're making you're getting somewhere when, if they're leaving you alone, you're not being very effective in politics. It's only when they start to attack you.
No, I understand. What do you think about the rise of, I think I was there on day one and I thought this woman called Pauline Hanson was just like a breath of fresh air. Not the greatest orator in the world, but gee whiz.
She's genuine.
She is genuine.
Authentic.
Yep. Authentic and
authentic.
A bit like Barnaby Joyce, a really good retail politician.
Well, I was at the Garden Grove centre picking up some pine bark yesterday, and I always wear my Australian Family Party hat, and my standard line when I'm leaving a particular place anyway says, I always say, and don't forget to vote. And this guy said, so who should I vote for? And I said, I pointed to my hat, said Australian Family Party. And he goes, nah, no way, mate, I'm voting for Pauline Hanson's One Nation.
Oh, the move is on, isn't it?
Just like that. And I said, when you start to hear that around the place, there's something on. She's going to do really, really well, Jeremy. They've tried everything. They threw her in prison. And that was Tony Abbott did that. He led that charge and she ended up in jail for a couple of weeks or months. And
yeah, I think.
Yeah, but
it adds to the legend. It adds to the legend, and it's not going to do her any harm. It must have been a nasty experience at the time.
Yeah, I think
it put her on the map.
Yeah. People don't like Liberal, and there's a lot of people that don't like Labor. So they're saying, "Well, I'm not going to go with the Greens. Who else can I go for?"
Yes,
and that's where, fortunately or unfortunately, Pauline Hanson will pick up a lot.
Do you believe, Senator? Do you believe the nonsense that's going on at in the leadership of the Liberal Party?
What do I think of it?
Yeah.
the biggest mistake they made, I remember Peter Costello once said that if you let Malcolm Turnbull into the Liberal Party, you'll destroy it. And that's when the rot started. I mean, Tony Abbott, I was elected the same day as Tony Abbott when he was elected Prime Minister in 2013. And he won in a landslide. You know, stop the boats, kept it simple. Stop the boats, stop the mining tax, stop the carbon tax. He got elected on those basic principles, and
it was a landslide. Yeah,
a landslide. And from
what was it, 94 seats or something?
Yep, and from the moment he got in, and he didn't last 2 years. Malcolm undermined him, and from then on, they've never recovered.
Craig Kelly talks about he published something. I think you can find it either on YouTube or it's on X or something like that. I've quoted a bit from it over the weeks, but he published what he called an autopsy on the Liberal Party, and he says
traces it back to then, I suppose.
Well, yeah. The cause of death was cowardice.
So true.
And the idea was that Tony Abbott should not, with a whopping great thumping majority, should not have given in to the Paris Climate Accord.
Yep.
But all along he was trying to appease people within the party. Yeah.
No, he was looking. He was a good campaigner. He was a good opposition leader. But once he became Prime Minister, it didn't work out. He didn't realise that the first among equals principle, where you rely on all the backbenchers for your position, and Malcolm was able to pick them off one at a time and undermine their leader.
He's still doing it.
Oh, yeah. He wants to be kicked out of the Liberal Party.
I can't see why. Yeah, dear.
Anyway, we'll see how we go. Look, I'm on the campaign trail. We're expecting the election to be officially called fairly soon, but don't forget to vote.
Well, what can we do to help here?
Well, just
in the court of public opinion.
Sure, Bob Day's Australian Family Party. We're back in the game. We did well last time, and I was elected. And in fact, to my old friend Roger Drake, used to say to me, Bob, mate, just remember, politics is designed to keep people like you out.
Yes.
Well,
People
Bob,
like
you
me,
have to
people
keep
like
saying.
Jim-
You have to
Jim
keep
Penman.
saying, don't forget to vote, but say vote for and tell them who to vote for.
Oh, that's always my second one then.
I realise, but you've got to say the name of the party even before you say don't forget to vote.
To vote.
Yeah, because people say, oh, yeah. And like the other guy said, yeah, I'm going to vote for somebody else. Well, a lot of people don't even know that you're around, so you need to let them know.
Well, we're doing our best to...
Well, you're doing your... thanks, folks. I'll hit back on the campaign trail.
Well, let us know what we can do as we get closer to the date. Thank you very much, Senator.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Good morning, Bob.
And you too, Peter. Good talking to you as always.
Yep, thank
Gary
you.
and
Thank you,
Caroline,
Bob.
Thanks for
Give me a call and
great
we'll
show.
set up an interview, all right?
Senator Bob Day, ladies and gentlemen.
Certain kind of light that never shone on me. I want my life to be live with you, live with you. There's a way. Everybody said to do each and every little thing. But what does it bring if I ain't got you? Ain't got you. Baby, you don't know what it's like. Baby,
You don't know what it's like. I'm just looking out of the window here from the dining room table, and out there, I want to put, Caroline, a flagpole out there.
Good idea.
I got an auction, this really big Australian flag.
Yes, and I also bought one ahead of Australia Day, if you recall.
Yeah, and I suspect they're both made in China.
Oh, they
Oh,
are.
yes, mine
that has to
was.
be
Mine was.
China.
How
I
about
did.
a piping strike?
I did put water out for the birds.
Oh, thank you. I think we'll put it right outside that window, I reckon.
One front, one back.
We could do that. Yeah. There's a company in Australia, well, I don't know if they're Australia-wide, but they're called Federation flagpoles. And they come along, and I don't know how much it is, but...
They're North Adelaide, aren't they?
No, I don't know where they are, where they're based.
We've been there, we went there about 20 years ago.
There's one up at the other place.
Yeah.
What do you got there on your phone?
Toyota has been named Australia's strongest brand in the YouGov's 2026 rankings.
YouGov is a government organisation?
Yeah, but the top 10 brands.
What are they rating people for?
But it's interesting, there are no Australian.
None of them are Australian. Oh, that'll be right.
It's Toyota.
Thank you, Albo.
Followed by Samsung, Google, YouTube, Colgate, Bunnings, Cadbury, Panadol, PayPal, and Audi. I guess Bunnings is Australian.
Yes, Bunnings.
Yes.
Yeah, Bunnings is Australian.
Yeah. West Farmers.
Yep. It used to be Woolworths way up there. It used to be Coles way up there.
Yeah, they're not even in it. Aldi's the only one there.
And that's German.
Yeah.
I guess.
The German supermarket brand or group.
Well, we've taken to them in Australia. Hand over fist.
They seem to have good prices. They have good quality. And my wife shops there regularly.
I do too.
She shops at all the others as well, but she shops there regularly.
Well, I shop at all of them, but just get specials. But they have a lot of European products, whereas Coles and Woolworths mainly have Chinese.
Yeah. Well, they have a fair bit of Australian products too, because they have meat, Australian meat, and a whole lot of other, and they've got labels on it, that's Australian made.
Yes. Well,
But
Jeremy feeds the possums every night, so we tend to get the apples and pears from Aldi.
Yeah, and
the
the more I
reasonably
feed,
priced.
the more the more we feed the possums.
The more come.
The more possums.
Yeah.
I foolishly was bringing in the washing one day, and there was a possum with a baby on her back, and I pointed it out to Jeremy, and we gave it fruit. The next day there was another one there, and now we have 5 areas where we feed the possums.
Well, there you go.
Yeah,
it's like you become like Mount Gambier, where you go down to that area, the sinkhole, and there's all possums out of the. Have you been there, Jeremy?
I've been to Mount Gambier, the Blue Lake.
Yeah.
Never been to the sinkhole.
Oh, there's a sinkhole, a very big sinkhole. Sorry?
It's in front of Jen's Hotel.
Yeah, there's a big, huge sinkhole, and you go down, and there's hundreds of possums, all hidden in the crevices, and then the evenings. Or during the day, all the tourists go there and feed them all the time.
Well, the only reason I went to Mount Gambier was for Alan Scott.
Oh, yes.
And I wouldn't have gone near the sinkhole with him.
It was a tourist attraction.
He'd have pushed me straight in. Straight in.
He had the farm next to us at Cape Bridgewater.
He had everything. I mean, he had every pub in Mount Gambier. He had the Border Watch, which was the newspaper. He had the radio station. Yeah.
What didn't he have?
Oh, no, he was a brilliant man.
No, like I said, we spoke about him on
your
my show.
Yeah.
I had the pleasure of meeting him. And like I said, he was very astute, like you said. He tended or seemed to know what was going to work and what wasn't. And he was, to me, when I was speaking to him, he was really nice and friendly. It wasn't like some guy, I'm Mr. Scott, who are you?
Oh, no, he was a down-to-earth kind of character.
Really
led from the front.
Yeah, good day, mate.
Led from the front.
Yeah.
It was a great character. And along the lines of Lang Hancock.
Yes.
Very similar, I thought. Very down-to-earth, very practical.
Speaking of great characters and interesting things, it's time for the dates.
It's time over already.
Yes.
How did I not do that?
Over 12.
Okay.
We always run late.
I'll find him in a second.
When you can't find a friend, you still got the radio. Singing with the when you can't find a friend, you still got the radio. The radio. Listen to the radio. The radio. Listen to the radio. Still radio. Listen to the radio. The radio. Listen to the radio.
Listen to the radio, and if you can't listen to the radio, or you'd prefer to be on the radio, that's all right as well. I've got so many bits of paper here. So I bring in more things than I really need, just in case. Yeah, well, it's sort of well organised, Peter.
Yep.
Here we are. But it's an organisation that sometimes...
Military position,
lets me
precision here.
Yeah, but sometimes you need helpers, and you're doing a great job today.
Oh, he's got lots of helpers.
Yeah, but today there's only you and I.
That's
okay, January the 30th, ladies and gentlemen. If it's your birthday, happy wedding anniversary. 1487, bell chimes were invented.
Ding dong.
Yeah, ding dong.
1487.
Yep. What happened to Avon calling?
Yeah, well, did they have electricity way back then?
She passed away.
No.
My mum was an Avon agent.
Yeah. There were lots of them. It made a lot of people very happy.
Oh, she did very well at the
Avon
time.
calling.
Yep.
And on a hot day like this, it could be Avon crawling.
She bought a Mini Cooper S on the process.
Yeah.
How good is that?
Would you explain to me how the minis are getting bigger and wagon wheel chocolate biscuits are getting smaller?
I can answer that absolutely.
Can you?
The demographic's getting really fat. You try and get someone into my MGA. Doesn't happen. I got friends who cannot even get into my car.
Well, I can get into the sports cars. I can get into the TF, but I can't get out.
Yeah.
Well, us older folk call these little sports cars the silver slipper.
Yeah.
Silver slipper.
Or was it the glass slipper?
The Cinderella.
It's the glass slipper, I'm sorry.
The Cinderella.
We will get in there. We will do it. But as someone just said, getting out's the big one. But there's a block and tackle. It's not a problem.
No, well, there's a lot of things in life. The getting in is easy. The getting out is hard.
Well, we'll just leave that one. We'll leave that one alone. And Caroline picked up on that.
Yeah.
Moving on. The state funeral for Winston Churchill at St Paul's Cathedral in London, at the time, the world's largest ever state funeral, 1965. God bless you, Sir Winston.
Did well.
We will fight them on the beaches.
Yes.
We shall never surrender.
Never. I think there were 5 nevers. Never.
It's like dating girls. Never give up.
Surrender. While there is life, there's hope.
Throw your hat in the ring.
Yes.
Be ready to catch it as it comes out.
To coin a phrase. 1975, Erno Rubik. I'm not sure whether I'm pronouncing the first name right. E-R-N-O with a omglot or a grav or a thing above it. Anyway, applies for a patent for his magic cube invention, later to be known, famously, as the Rubik's Cube. Wow, 1975. How to start a craze. Yo-yos were about the same.
One of them.
No.
You've never done it?
People can.
I can't do it.
And do it within seconds. I don't understand.
I can't walk and chew at the same time.
1956, Elvis Presley records his cover version of Carl Perkins' song Blue Suede Shoes. Don't you step on my blue suede shoes.
Love Elvis.
Lifeboats first tested at sea by a guy called Mr. Greathead, who was the inventor. 1790. And before 1790, I guess you just, if you're in a boat, you just take your luck.
Yeah, take your rowboat.
Take your chances.
Yeah.
1647, after 9 months of negotiations, Scottish Presbyterian Cell captured Charles I to the English Parliament for £100,000.
Wow. That was a lot of money those days.
So the Scottish Presbyterians had the English king. And they sold him.
Sold him back.
Good business.
What do they call that? A ransom?
I guess. 1649, Charles I, King of England, Scotland and Ireland, 1625 to 1649, beheaded for treason at Parliament at the age of just 48.
That'll teach you to stick your neck out.
You just can't please everybody. That's the problem. 1883, the English team presented with the ashes of a bale after Sydney Test.
Ball.
No, a bale.
Bale.
No, you know the thing they put on the wicket?
Yeah, I got you.
They took that out and they burned it.
And then just a little bit
That's
of ashes.
the ashes, isn't it?
And you'd say, why? Why would you do that?
They put them in a port glass, which was a big waste.
But why would you do that?
It was a token.
They're cricketers, remember?
Yeah, well, that's...
Cut them some slack.
Sidney Sheldon, a man that I really enjoyed talking to many times, 2007. He dies of pneumonia at 89. But he was a novelist, and we'd ring him with every book that came out. We had great arrangements with the publishers. I can't remember which one that was, but they'd ring us and they'd set up a Sidney Sheldon interview. Masters of the Game, Bloodline, The Bachelor and the Bobby Soxer. He wrote The Patty Duke Show. He wrote I Dream of Jeannie.
Wow.
Oh.
He wrote Heart to Heart with the Robert Wagner
Yes.
thing.
And Stephanie Powers.
And Stephanie Powers. Yeah.
Amazing writer.
Yeah. Heart to Heart. Dies of pneumonia at 89, but a wonderful interview. Yeah. It really gives you sit down and sometimes it's like pulling teeth. Other times it's just a joy that people just actually give. Give. 1870, it's not like you're doing anything other than promoting their product anyway.
Yeah.
Around the World in 80 Days by Jules Verne is published in France by Pierre-Jules Hetzel. Was that the publisher, I suppose? Not sure. Anyway, 1873. Around the World in 80 Days. 1993, 100,000 Europeans demonstrate against fascism and racism in 1993.
That didn't work, did
No,
it?
I don't remember that. Orville Wright.
Oh, now we're talking.
Yep, American aviator, the Wright brothers. He dies at 76. The year was 1948. 1951. This is one for you, Gary.
Yep.
Ferdinand Porsche, the German engineer, the Volkswagen Beetle, Mercedes-Benz SS, unfortunate about the SS, and founder of the Porsche company. He dies at 75.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, well, he actually was put in prison by the SS along with Louis Renault. And Louis Renault never came out, but Porsche did.
Yeah.
Because he was designing the the Volkswagen, as everybody knows.
Yeah.
And the SS apparently found out that Louis Renault was designing a people's car. And anyone who's in love, as I am, with Renault 750s will know they're virtually a copy of a Volkswagen. And that's what Louis Renault was designing at the time. And, of course, as I said, the Gestapo, whoever it was, did away with him. But when Porsche left prison, he went on to design the Renault 750.
Yep.
Well,
So it's the same person. The French car, right?
Same concept. Renault 750 is the same concept as a Volkswagen. It's a transaxle and water-cooled, not air-cooled, but a gorgeous little car. I've had 3 of them.
You know they're going to bring back the Citroën Goddess?
I hope they do.
It's a beautiful looking
I
thing.
love French girls.
Yeah. Bless you. Now, where am I? Olivia Colman, English actress, Broadchurch. Favourite? The Favourite was a show. I don't know that. Don't remember that. For which she won an Academy Award. She was born in England. Also in Doctor Who, Matt Smith's first episode, 1974. Marianne Faithfull. I love Marianne Faithfull.
Singer.
British folk rock,
So did Mick
pop,
Jagger.
jazz singer. Yeah, it's hard not to love
They
Marianne
were a
Faithfull.
great pair, weren't they?
As Tears Go By, Broken English. The actress born. Well, I'm not sure when she was born. She died at the age of 78. The girl on a motorcycle. But she died on this day in 1925, Marianne Faithfull. She had a drug problem, a terrible drug problem, because it was heroin that she was addicted to, which is an awful drug. Phil Collins, British Oscar, Grammy, Novella, Brit Awards. She's won them all. Award-winning rock drummer, pop singer, songwriter, Genesis, Invisible Touch, I Can't Dance, solo, In the Air Tonight, Against all odds, one more night, another day in paradise.
How on earth could he sing that well and play a drum at the same time?
I don't
and
know.
have a Jack Russell in his video.
And,
Indeed.
and when I was at 2GB in the 80s...
He had the room opposite in the secret townhouse.
We lived in the same hotel.
Yep.
We used to go up and down in the lift.
Yep.
Together.
Did Caroline disappear for great periods of time?
When?
When you stayed at the hotel with...
I think she had a thing for him.
Oh, well, look, it could be.
You didn't even notice her missing, did you?
No.
He was too busy working.
When you work in Sydney media, you're busy. You can't concentrate on everything. 1948, Mahatma Gandhi, Indian independence activist and spiritual leader, was assassinated in New Delhi by Hindu extremists at the age of 78. Gene Hackman, American actor Bonnie and Clyde, The Conversation, The French Connection, The Birdcage, Superman born San Bernardino, California, died 2025, born this day, 1913. Granville Woods, American inventor of what? First post-Civil War African-American mechanical and electrical engineer.
Wow.
He invented telegraph for railways. He dies at 53 on this day in 1910. There's just one more. Speaking of flagpoles and flags, Betsy Ross, American seamstress, widely credited with making the first American flag.
That's right.
Yeah.
Really?
Hand sewn it was.
Yeah, hand sewn. It's somewhere, isn't it?
It is around. It's in one of the Smithsonian's, more than likely.
Dies at 84. But that was...
Great little seamstress.
Could it be...
Why should you take up the Levi's?
Was she born in 1836 or did she die in 1836?
Look it up on Google.
Yeah. Anyway,
Tony here, he's
one more. John Profumo. Oh,
he had a fun time.
Oh, didn't he? What was the name of the girl?
Christine Keeler. Thank you, Jeremy.
So you remember?
Oh, yeah. I was there at the time.
Yeah.
I was second in command. I was hanging around waiting for a Guernsey.
Well, it would have cost you.
It cost Profumo too.
She wasn't cheap.
No. None of. Have you ever met one that's cheap?
No, I've never met one.
Well, we won't
You're
take that any
suggesting
further.
that all of them are?
So
We'll
what
just
was
leave
she
that alone.
famous for?
What was she famous for?
Yeah.
What was she famous for? I mean, do you have to ask?
I mean, I know the name and I remember, and I think, hang
Christine
on,
Keeler?
Yeah.
She was very naughty.
Yeah, that's
Well,
right.
she was a I don't know, a lady of the night.
Yes.
A lady of the night. But
Jeremy's so polite, isn't he?
a colourful character.
Wasn't she also wrapped up in lots of politicians and lots of people?
Well, no, the politicians were wrapped up.
It was more the other way around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1915, John Profumo, British cabinet minister, the Profumo scandal. Caroline puts in sensitive parenthesis.
Yeah.
Born in London, England. He died in 2006, 1915.
But exhaustion.
Anyway, I think
scandal?
A book
The
came out of that.
alimony payments hurt him
A
too.
scandal came out of it. A book came out of it. But
it.
he didn't.
Yep.
Got to go. Thank you so much for being with us. Now, our posting will be on air on Facebook. I don't suppose it's on air, is it? No, I don't know.
Does it go on Facebook, YouTube?
No, it goes up to YouTube.
It can be accessed via Google, YouTube, or
Spotify.
Facebook.
All those
simple radio download. But folks, remember the Court of Public Opinion, when it comes up on your screen, hit subscribe, and then it will reoccur twice a week.
Yep, it'll be on a Tuesday and a Thursday. And back live streaming next Friday, 9 to 12, jeremycordeaux.com. Thank you very much.
9 to 12 plus.
9 to 12 plus.
Yeah, he's very naughty.
Oh, no.
What can they do? What can they sack me?
Yeah, so whip me.
Yeah. Oh, God. Peter, thank you so much.
Thank you for allowing me to be here.
No, you got to come back again.
Yep.
Good fun. Gary, thank you.
What a pleasure.
Caroline, thank you. And Les. Well, I don't know where Les is, but he'll be
Well, hopefully he's listening.
because he does jet off to places.
Oh, he's a
at the drop
globetrotter, that
drop
man.
of a hat.
Drop of a hat,
Yeah.
indeed.
That's it. Thank you very much for having me. Been a pleasure.
Believe in yourselves and
Yeah.
Cheers now.
God bless and see you soon.
We're together.